What is going on, everybody? Anthony here, 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗕𝗘, man. Tales of the Dark Side, episode 112, Saturday night, my friends, man. I got Mario in the building. El Professor, what's up, man?
What's going on, y'all?
What is good?
Happy Saturday, man. Just here chilling, and yeah, got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight, man. Looking forward to
we do. As the title of it is said, is toy collecting dying? Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is. We're gonna talk about it tonight. Hang on. Oh wait! He's gonna do something here. He's Is
it though? Is it? I mean, granted, this isn't really toy collecting, but I mean,
is that a toy?
Yeah, that's You gotta.
All right, what is this?
You know,
Star Trek?
Hold up.
Yeah.
Star Trek? No, it's not.
Oh no.
EFX 1-to-1 prop replica Darth Vader helmet from A New Hope. My favorite helmet, actually. So finally got it in for Sideshow today. Yeah, man, precision cast replica. Look at that.
Precision cast replica, dude. That's fucking awesome. Congrats, my man. Congrats. Maybe we'll do a live unboxing,
shrine, man. So
live unboxing, Blitz.
You want to watch it? I'll crack it open.
Do it up. CT, my man. Also, welcome back, man. We wanted to talk about some things, and it's like, you know what? We're gonna do that tonight. But how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. Got my finally got my Batmobile in. So unboxed.
Yeah, dude.
Wait a minute. What Batmobile?
The Batmobile.
The Batmobile. Exactly. The 66 Batmobile from Jazz Inc.
Congratulations, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. Did an unboxing as always in the Discord. That was pretty cool until Discord crashed.
What the hell?
Yeah, we had a little bit of an outage.
Yeah, a little bit of craziness in there. Some guy was in there with us. He gets it, but it was crazy. And we had a good time nonetheless. So Discord is back up. By the way, like I said, we're broadcasting. We're pumping at 1.21 gigawatts. We are
21 gigawatts.
The bots, have been defeated, and the tower is back up broadcasting. So
dude, well, I'm glad that you got it. I know Mario has his 66 on the way as well. I know somebody else who's a fan of the 66. Maybe it comes with wisdom or experience. But Rob, hi, Burnett, what is up, my man?
Dude, my 66 is right up there on the top of
nice.
Top of the shelf. It's fantastic. I'm good. I finally opened up that package you sent me of delightful goodness.
Oh, you did? All right. So they're all open or what?
Well, I mean, I opened them up and looked at them all.
Oh,
I haven't displayed them.
Okay, but you inspected all of them. Took them all out.
Man, I love those X06 figures.
Dude, I'm glad that
now I'm caught up.
Are you though? I mean, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm caught up through the release. I mean, not after what you told me, but I
didn't tell you anything, dude. I'm just.
But I mean, in terms of looking out for a tsunami of figures. In
yeah. Look out for that. I mean, I think Picard season 3 and then TNG Data are right around the corner.
Yeah.
Right around.
By the way, I don't know if you've already brought it up. Judging by last week's show, everybody on this show is a prophet. We can all see the future.
Well, kind of, yeah, right?
I mean, it took 24 hours from the time. Oh, look at that!
Oh, he's doing it. Hold on, Rob. He's a live unboxing. You missed the beginning portion here.
Oh my!
You're muted, Mario.
You're muted, Mario.
There's still more. Let me finish it, and I'll show you guys in a minute.
Okay. What is it he's unboxing besides giving me an orgasm?
EFX 1-to-1 prop replica of A New Hope version.
Of the helmet or the entire Vader?
Oh, this is the helmet. Just the helmet.
Oh yeah. Just the helmet. Just the helmet. Jeez, man. Just the tip? Is that what it is?
I was gonna say that's what she said. It's just the helmet, buddy.
Just the tip.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, man.
You can barely get your hands around that thing.
In the chat, man, but I'm just kind of bringing your guys up right now, just because we're already in the midst. But I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Yeah, let's find out. Let us find out.
So I gotta say, I wake up Monday morning, and then go onto the internet as one is wont to do. And what does Hot Toys drop? That BVS Ultimate Batman. Literally less than 24 hours after we were talking about Hot Toys, actually I guess it was 2 days, talking about repopping older figures. That's what Hot Toys bread and butter is going to be, is repopping bread and butter figures and making them too irresistible. They're not going to be artisan quality, but they're definitely going to be somewhere in between the two.
Yes.
And that's exactly what they did Monday morning.
I ordered up.
Oh, of course.
You did?
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Okay, hold on. Let me bring Mario up, man, because that was a quick unboxing, huh?
Dude.
It weighs hardly anything, but
really
the accuracy. I mean, this is like way much nicer than the
that looks so amazing.
So can you tell everybody in the chat a little bit of why this is better than, say, you know, a Hasbro?
This is, from what I understand, this is actually scanned from the actual. From what I understand, the original one, the original prop was actually kind of in rough condition, was destroyed, but there's another one that was actually kind of refurbished in a sense, and this was scanned from that. So this does have lineage from the actual prop itself, but this is as close as you're gonna get from a New Hope version. But the paint apps are not accurate. It is pretty much, yeah, they're inaccurate. It's basically just one shade of black when it should have multiple shades of like a gunmetal gray, amongst other things as well. It's missing some scuffs and details like on the cheeks. But as far as, I mean, I could get all that retouched up. But as far as like the accuracy of this thing, this is a New Hope Vader, right? It's even got the red eyes. You really can't see it.
It looks stunning.
It really does.
The red lenses are actually there. But that's it, man. I've been waiting for this for like a while, man. It doesn't weigh much. It's pretty light, but even still, man, that's a display piece in the Vader shrine, along with a couple other things I got coming in. Now I gotta look for the New Hope lightsaber prop.
So you're gonna be doing a lot of props then, huh?
Maybe a couple here and there. I've had my eyes on a few things, so we'll see what the future holds, man.
Yeah. All right.
But at the same time, as I got this, I also got my Return of the Jedi speeder back from Hot Toys. So actually, that finally showed up as well.
Oh my gosh! Well, this looks amazing, guys.
They did an amazing job with this thing, man.
Congrats in the chat, man, for Mario, man. That's a nice pick up, man.
Yeah, man.
Loving the quote from Blitz. You are a rebel and a liar and a part of the Rebel Alliance.
Oh yeah, dude. I know I'm a little behind on chats, guys, so my apologies. But man, that is fucking awesome, man.
Nowhere to freaking put it though.
Nowhere to put it. Isn't that the story of our life, though, man?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Should I just wear it?
Yeah.
No, not happening.
Is it not wearable or what?
It says there's a big old warning that says not to wear it. But
So
at the same time, they got straps in here like you can wear it, and padding like you can wear it. So it's like, what the hell?
All right. Well, that's yeah. Well, anyway, that's fucking awesome, dude. I too got something in myself today. My Iron Man Mark 1 showed up, man.
Nice.
Oh, man. So I'm like pretty jazzed about it, man. I mean, he's, it's the first MCR, man. It's badass. So yeah, super cool. It was weird, man. I was waiting all day. Like, it literally just showed up like an hour ago. It took all day.
Cracked it open yet?
Yeah, no, I cracked it open. I got him plugged in right now. He's USB. So
what do you think of it?
Pretty fucking cool, man.
Can you hear it like whirling? Does it have that?
Right? Yeah, but not right now because my headphones are on. But yeah, he does have a bit of a hum.
Okay.
But he's cool, man. So I just got him set up. I was like, everything's in disarray, man, because I've got my 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢 1, I think, is shipping Monday. So I'm just trying to make room, move shit around. I got my photo stuff set up. It's like it's a nightmare in here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, guys, so what's up, man? Happy Saturday out in the chat, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about Reva, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about what the hell's going on in the toy market, man. Brother Cousins will be joining us soonish, so we'll stay tuned for that. We'll probably wait for him to get into the main topics, but appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Let's hit that like button, man. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Subscribe to Rob, subscribe to Mario. Say hello to CT. Join us in the Discord. Obviously, you got links everywhere. And the movie canon, my man, just became a channel member, dude. So I appreciate that very much, dude. Hell yeah, brother. And congrats on that 1K, by the way.
Nice.
He just did his 1K on his channel,
That's
guys.
awesome.
So be sure to go check him out if you haven't already, my friends, dude. I do appreciate that, my friend. But yeah, man. So that's cool, Rob. So you got your stuff. You got your stuff in. Everything's good.
Everything is good. I also got a sneak peek. I was able to watch the entire back 5 episodes of For All Mankind, which is one of my favorite shows on TV.
I have yet to see it, dude.
Me too. I'm dying to take that.
So good. It's so good.
Well, I felt like stacking them up, and then kind of
you'll want like this show is just it's funny because people always say to me, well, Rob, it's a little light on the sci-fi and it's a little too heavy on the melodrama, and I'm like, well, it's kind of the point. Like, that's not a failure of the show, it's the design of the show,
right?
It's all about the people. It's an alternate history that's gone from the end of the 60s to this. Each season takes place a decade after the season before it. So it jumps ahead in time, and this is the 4th season, takes place in 2003. But what happened is our space program was, because the Russians got to the moon first in the show.
Yeah.
The space program never went away, and NASA started to own their own patents. So they were a self-funded organization. And what's so interesting about the show is they've taken our real life and they've extrapolated upon it. And like the technology in the universe is like 20 years ahead of ours. Like they already have electric cars in 2003. They had cell phones earlier because all of the byproducts of space research trickled down into our society. And it's very optimistic. I think of this show as being a true prequel to Star Trek.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I was kind of thinking that in a weird way, like just reading like what the synopsis was and everything. And then Ronald Moore's doing it too, right? That's his show?
Yeah, he was a co-creator of it.
Oh, okay.
But it's just, you get the writing on it. The writing and the plotting is at such a high level, and they don't forget about anything. And like, there's a great callback to an earlier season, something that happened in an earlier season this season, and that you forget about things. And then it's a brilliant show. I love it so much.
I'll watch it. I love him. His work on TNG. Of course, he did the reimagining of Battlestar. I mean, amongst other things.
I would say that For All Mankind is quickly becoming one of the great science fiction shows of all time.
Damn it, man.
But there's a lot of people that it requires. It requires a certain kind of attention span, and you have to be interested in geopolitics. You have to know history. It's much more interesting if you know something about the last 40 years or 50 years of history, because a lot of it is based on real events, but that went one way, but in this universe they went another way.
Okay. Is it kind of like Man in the High Castle?
Yeah, it's definitely, but it's not horrible. It started out with the Russians beating us to the moon, and it went from there. But the last hour of season 2, the episode 10 of season 2 is one of the great hours of television of the 21st century.
Damn.
Because it's all these stories. In a way, For All Mankind, it has nothing to do with Game of Thrones, but you know how Game of Thrones had a formula? Like, you knew that like certain episodes, like episode 9 was going to be the ultimate banger episode of the season, and then episode 10 would show you the fallout. Well, For All Mankind kind of does that same thing. Episodes 9 and 10 become this essentially a 2-part episode, and it's just the way they've done it. It's so good. I hope it gets renewed for. They said they had a plan for 8 seasons. I hope they are allowed to do all 8 seasons.
Okay, so what, did season 4 just end?
Yeah, well, season 4 doesn't end until January.
Oh, okay,
but I was able to through.
Because you got the early screen. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay. Well, shit, man. I will watch it. It's
really good.
I've been wanting to,
but it is as I said, it is a slow burn. It's not for everybody. If you're a fan of if you're a space opera fan and you want a lot of slam bang, in your face space action, For All Mankind is not that show. It's very much real space. So
I'm down, bro.
Lots of people die. Lots of people die.
Well, if the story's good, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah,
and I love sci-fi. So of course, dude. Yeah, man. Awesome, dude. I just saw Ben, man. What's up, Ben? Ben Thomas in the house, man. He said I started watching it because of you, Rob, and I have loved it.
Good. So, I'm glad.
Some
people just couldn't get into it, so I'm glad you liked it.
Hell yeah.
It's always interesting now to see what people. I mean, you can't tell somebody to like something they don't like. That doesn't make sense. Everybody has different preferences and they like different things, so I think I've always hated the idea that people say, well, you like that? Well, that sucks. Because I even like something. I have great affection for things that I know aren't good, but I like them anyway. And I can tell you why I personally like them. Like there's an Italian ripoff of Star Wars that was made in 1978 called Star Crash. It's not good,
but you like it.
I love it. I love Star Crash. It's got hot babes. It's got David Hasselhoff is in it.
Oh well, then
Christopher Plummer plays the, and it was
Right.
it has stop motion animation. It harks back to Ray Harryhausen. The thing is, it's not great, but the people that made it, there's so much love and affection put into it. It's like the ultimate Super 8 movie you'd make in your backyard. People don't know what Super 8 is, but it used to be
I saw
filmed.
it in the theater.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
I
that's
slept on a
interesting that you
beach. I was at the Sitges Film Festival in it's outside of Barcelona, Spain, and they had a screening of Star Crash at 10 in the morning, and I was hammered, and I slept on the beach, and I walked from the beach, I got a little breakfast, and then went to the theater and saw Star Crash at 10 in the morning.
That's fucking hilarious, man. But you know what, dude? You're right, man. That's weird. Like we'll tell people, like you can't really tell people like to like something, right? Either even if you think it's like, I really like it, but trying to impose that on people, it just never
also
works.
Especially for older things. I mean, like I've often said that
oh yeah, someone told me that Predator was cheesy.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing.
I was like, what? No, it's the best movie ever made.
You have to have seen. You have to have seen. Like we're older.
Yeah.
But I've told people, because I've spoken a lot at colleges and things, and I've told people, I say young people, because the college age is now, it's 18 if you go to college right after high school.
Sure. Yeah.
And
of course.
and nowadays, if you're 18 now, that means you were born in 2001. And if you're born in 2001, you probably didn't start, if you're a fan of movies and TV shows and all that, video games, you probably didn't start watching movies and really start registering what they're all about until you're 11, 12, 13, 14, which means you were only watching, that was like 6 or 7 years ago for you. So for you to try and tell somebody who's 20 years old that they need to go back and watch something from the 60s or 70s, their mind is not programmed to watch something that's old. And it seems strange to say, like, yeah, if you told somebody who's only seen the last 3 Planet of the Apes movies, for instance, if you told them to go back and watch the original Planet of the Apes from '68 and then watch the first 5 movies,
they wouldn't be able to.
Beneath,
I don't think.
Escape, Conquest, and Battle, they couldn't get past the makeups. I mean, some people can.
Right.
Some people are able to look back and be like, okay, like when I was a kid, I wanted to watch every science fiction, fantasy, and horror movie ever made. And so I would understand, okay, I'm going to go back and watch George Méliès's A Trip to the Moon. That was a silent movie made in the 19s. And I knew it was that way. So when I sat down to watch it, I put myself in a mindset of, okay, I'm going to watch a French silent movie. Yeah. And I think to bring it around to figures, to bring it around to 6-scale figures, it's really only been in the last 10 years that we've got the kind of 12-inch figures that we've got now. Well, and I've been collecting 12-inch figures for 45 years.
Yeah.
So to have been a part of that evolution and watch where we are now, when I hear people arguing over, that face sculpt sucks, and it's just like, well, compared to what?
I mean, look,
compared to the greatest head sculpt we've ever seen in the history of humanity.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, compared to back then. But you bring up a point. I suppose it's a good segue. Is that trying to tell people to like stuff that you like, even though they don't, and things like that. I mean, we got Reva dropped today, man, or the other day, and that's kind of a topic of contention too, right? Because some people are like, dude, it's fucking awesome, I love it, and then trying to be like, hey, you should love this too. And other people are like, oh, I ain't having it. You know what I mean? So it's a very
but here's the thing. Take your feelings out of what you thought of the show.
Sure.
And looking at it as an action figure. As an action figure in the Star Wars universe. Because there's been times, like, I think that's a really cool figure. And whether you like that, the way the character was portrayed in the actual series, she can still, one of the things I've always liked about Star Wars figures is they can still exist in your imagination.
Yes.
Because she's still an Inquisitor or whatever. And from the Star Wars universe, that's a badass figure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know so much about the head sculpt, But I think that's a bad. Whether you like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series or not, as an action figure, that's a pretty badass figure.
I agree. And speaking of badass figures, what up, dude?
What's up? How y'all doing? Sorry for being late.
We need to do a video where all of us do the "What's up," but with our figures.
Okay.
You know,
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Would that be funny?
What's up?
That would be great.
And everybody's got a figure in their hand. They're doing something.
Oh gosh, that would be funny.
Instead of having a drinking a bud, playing with a hot toy or whatever.
That's funny, man. That is good. What's up, JB? Yeah, what's good, dude? What's up, man?
Hey,
Cobra Kai, man.
Hey, Cobra Kai never dies, man. Yeah, man. We had second brother's son, Lil Macho. Y'all know him. He
Lil
had
Macho, shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out Lil Macho. Happy birthday, Little Macho. What's up with you? He's in the Cobra Kai, so we had a Cobra Kai birthday party for him. So
wow,
very cool.
Did anyone get hurt?
No, actually, we were breaking boards and everything. It was great.
Oh, there was no really big gang fight in the living room, man. Where's two dojos?
We did that, but it kind of everything dismantled after we had cake. When cake was involved, everybody ran and got cake. So yeah, that helped with the violence. No.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
It made it more intense after everyone had their sugar fix.
Right,
they could hit harder.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, everybody in the chat, dude, shout out, happy birthday, Little Macho, man.
Hey,
that's awesome,
thank
dude.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, good, man. I'm glad you guys had fun, man. Able to make it. We just brought in the topic of Reva.
Now, is this you were saying? You were alluding to? Is there controversy about this figure?
Well, I think there's controversy about the character, right? Which I get it. Like you said, some people love it, some people hate it, some people. I didn't find her character very entertaining, and it felt like it was kind of injected into the show. But like you said, when you have Star Wars characters, they just kind of become set, in like your own kind of playground of sorts, right? Because it's Star Wars. Like when we were kids, like some of the characters we didn't even really fucking know. We're just like, oh, we like Star Wars toys, and like we could play and set up things.
Well, you'd make up like you didn't know the bounty hunters in Empire Strikes Back, 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗍, Zuckuss, Dengar, Bosk. You didn't know who those people were. They didn't do anything. They were just standing there.
Well, Boba Fett.
Boba
Fett had no lines. I mean, he was just,
But he was cool though, because he outsmarted Han Solo. He knew where. But that was the thing. You would want a Bosk figure because Bosk was badass looking, and then you'd make up your own adventures with him.
Yes.
Right.
So Reva, I mean, from a figure perspective, this is a really cool figure.
Yeah, I think so too.
I totally agree. It kind of goes in the same category as like, okay, the Moon Knight show. I thought the first episode was amazing. Honestly, I thought the first couple episodes were amazing, but in my opinion, it did not stick the landing for me. It really didn't at all. Then that figure came out, and I'll tell you right now, that figure is on my top 10 best of Hot Toys list. That is an amazing figure, and I think this figure right here for me kind of goes in that same category to a certain extent. To an extent. One, I think the head sculpt looks amazing. Two, she looks like a badass. And three, them together, that just looks awesome. And you put Vader in the middle of that, come on, she's an Inquisitor.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the whole thing. You put all these, like I'm always saying about all my third-party X-Men figures, they're all kind of in varying degrees of quality, but you put them all together in a display. I mean, look at that, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
What she represents, and the Grand Inquisitor and Marek.
Yeah.
Inquisitors just in general are a bigger piece of Star Wars moving forward. So this is the beginning of putting together those Inquisitors. And like you said, I mean, our Star Wars displays have been kind of lacking in regards to, let's just say, red lightsabers, unless it's Vader. That's it. The balance. We need the balance in our collection, and it's been heavily towards Jedis, right?
Yeah, and just putting all of your Imperial forces of any kind in a big display, like a Bob Dylan-esque display of just the Empire, with a bunch of stormtroopers and everything. It's cool.
I dig what it represents, and we've been getting, Moff Gideon. We've been getting good Imperial type back characters building up that. So maybe the content, all right, is lacking. I get it, but there's some nuggets of gold in there.
Absolutely,
I agree.
And this figure's strong.
I totally agree in that. I mean, it was funny when I was still kind of new when I started doing Best of the Best, and this was airing, and we were actually covering this, week by week. And honestly, as the weeks progressed, it became almost like a hassle of me talking about it, because I felt that we couldn't have conversations without people thinking that people were hating or just hating on a figure just to be hating on or hating on a character just be hating on a character, and then it became a thing of race. And we couldn't have that conversation, and I think that really sucked, and it really drained the life out of me enjoying the show. But then when I went back several months later and watched the show, just with fresh eyes, and I was like, you know what? There was some things that didn't work for me. There was parts of her story that did not work for me. It didn't make any sense to me, honestly. But what we got in the show and the representation of her in it, I found myself enjoying it all, and it was very enjoyable. But I do think it's sad that we couldn't have, for people, and this is what it was. I think it was a lot of things where there were people that there were some ignorant assholes that was just bashing it just because there was a person in this role that they didn't like her character. And I will say that I make no bones about it. I think the writing for this character was a little lackluster. I will say that totally. I think it's fair to say that. But I also, making those critiques, it's like those comments fell in with the ignorant racist bastards just hating on the actress just because they wanted to. And I think that's where it got muddy. And it was
I didn't see any of that though, man. At least in our community of 1/6,
there was some.
Maybe
not a lot. Not in our
Facebook,
community. Not in our community, but it was some out there that was, it was like the spite for it was just a little bit extra. It was like with a twist. It's like, okay, I know they talk shit about Hayden back in the day. Let's be honest. A lot of us did. We talk shit about Hayden.
Hayden's a horrible, he was a horrible Anakin.
Yeah,
but I didn't know.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. We all talked. We all critiqued the shit out of Star Wars. It's part of the fun. Let's be honest. It is. But it's also, I think, and I'm not saying this in our community, really, but if you go outside or people just to review movies and stuff or review shows, there was a lot. I thought it was a little extra. It was like a little with Reva, and I was like, okay, this is becoming a little much. That's just personally how I felt about it.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I mean, there was a lot of racists that were out there in force going after this character, and I was like, you know what it made me think about? I'm like, what would they have said when Empire Strikes Back came out? Because they literally added Lando Calrissian because there was real criticism of the first Star Wars.
That's true.
That is the future only white people and one black dude who you only hear his voice, and there was I remember it was really interesting because when they made Star Wars figures for Empire, there's a black twin pod cloud car pilot.
Right.
Of the 3 3/4 inch figures. And it's like, so I don't think that Reva, it's interesting. There was a lot of that because I think one of the things that we have a problem with now is I think there is a lot of agenda-based identity politics storytelling.
100%.
But just because you have a person of color of any kind playing a character doesn't mean that it's immediately agenda-based or identity politicking. Yeah. And, you look at shows like The Expanse or For All Mankind, there's all of these, because in the future, there's going to be a lot more biracial people. It's just what's going to be a function of when as humanity travels and then travels off planet. And they did a really good job. But the thing is, they never mention it. In For All Mankind, until it becomes a point where For All Mankind is one of the great shows of all time in terms of representation. But I think that in this particular instance, people were leaning into that, and I think unfairly so for this character.
Yeah. Well, I think look, I will say this, and you're right, because I love The Expanse, and they've got a ton of women. And see, that's the silly part, right? Because nobody in the right mind, dude, is like really complaining, right? Oh, it's a female. Oh, she's
no.
black. Like, I think what you're saying though is the injection, right? Where lately, like the past 10 years, it's just there's a lot of virtual signaling type things going on, right? So then people automatically assume it, and it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, even if you automatically assume it, it's like you don't have to be like racist about it. That's like totally fucking.
Yeah.
None of this enters my head when it comes time to purchasing.
Exactly, 100%.
When I go back, please, to that last picture.
Yes,
that last picture. Look at that uniform,
dude. It's so badass.
Look at that uniform. That is just a good looking uniform, Imperial uniform. I love it. This Inquisitor look is smart.
You're welcome, DC Fed.
And man, I hate to objectify women, but it is important to get body styles, body types right.
Absolutely,
I agree.
It really is.
And look, well, I always make fun of Hot Toys for being racist, but if they can make this figure, where's Okoye? Why do we not have 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗔𝗩 figures? Because the 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗔𝗩 have equally badass uniforms that would look kick-ass. I mean, this figure, this uniform is awesome. The design of it and everything.
Yeah.
Why can't we?
Body type.
Oh my God,
right.
it's so good.
The biggest, I think, really the biggest takeaway for me. I have confidence they'd get the face sculpt right. I have confidence in Hot Toys. They'll get that right. I don't have as strong confidence that they always get the body type right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they limit themselves with what they have in stock for body type.
Yeah, oftentimes, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like I don't know if they invested a little bit here or if that's just some padding, whatever. It works. It looks great. And, that's where my mindset is. Number one, the likeness is absolutely there. The uniform looks great. This is going to be a great addition to my Star Wars collection. And again, it's going to add that diversity in the Force, both in uniforms and actors and everything, but also just in the red and the Jedi lightsabers, so
absolutely
there's a lot of reasons to bring this home. So 100%. I feel bad for people who, want to reject it based on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'll play advocate here, where I think that some people, because I got a poll in the chat right now. We're about 70 votes in, man, and 75% are not buying her. And I think that's a fair reason if you were like, you know what, we're already in a saturated fucking market. And I can understand that, right? Where you're like, hey, you know what? She's not top priority for me. I got Iron Man's coming. I got, whatever.
Plus the show is a disappointment.
Yeah. So
all that's fair. All that's fair. It is. I mean, that's a fair assessment. When you get to look at it financially, let's face it, not a lot of people have disposable income. Not people, a lot of people probably can only get maybe 1 to 5 figures a year. Well, most of us on this panel, we got figures, vehicles. It's not a flex. It's just, that's what it is. Some people have to really
There's
be
priorities.
picky.
Yeah.
There's priorities. And if you're like, hey, I'm from Kenobi, I'm just going to get Kenobi and Vader done. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Of course. And then if you don't like the show, you don't like the character, I get that too. Done. You know what I'm saying? Those are, that is a fair, assessment. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people just won't buy this because they didn't like the Kenobi series. And that's fair too. I mean, I don't want to, just cast dispersions on anyone.
Yeah, but then I'm the weird one that's getting like all the Kenobi stuff, and I didn't like the show. But
but the thing is, you as a collector, the funny thing is in your mind and on your shelf, you can write the movie that you wanted to see.
Yeah, I got the vision where I'm like, because I have my 2 Purge Troopers when those came out. I grabbed 2 of those. Got the Grand Inquisitor, and my hopes are that they make the 4th and 5th.
Okay, so why though? Right, boom, bang. Why are you buying Purge Troopers and a Grand Inquisitor? What's going on there?
because it's the vision, right, of what you were kind of mentioning earlier. It's that we don't get a lot of dark side anything, really. You know, we have a Vader, we got a Maul. I mean, there's not a whole lot of love. Sideshow did Darth Malgus, you know, from the Old Republic. We don't get a lot of the bad side. You know, sometimes, you know, we got Moff Gideon, you know, and we can do the Imperial officers, sure, Tarkin and, you know, Krennic and what have you, but like they're awesome, man. The armor looks badass, they look sick, and you have them all on a shelf, they're all lit up red because now they're all USB, and like, dude, it's gonna look fucking awesome. I mean, you know, so then you're writing your own story right there. You're like, I don't care, you know. I mean, Luke was not, look, I love Luke to death, but he was not always fucking cool. You know,
right?
I mean,
Shut your mouth.
What?
You're the Anakin fan.
What?
I'm the Luke fanboy. I'm just saying, bro. It was a little whiny in A New Hope, you know.
Look, man, I wish I can do what you guys are doing and like look at a figure on the shelf that from a movie or from something that wasn't as good and just reimagine it in my mind. I can't do that. I'm more of one of seeing like the complete display and just admiring the art of it. You know what I mean? Knowing where it came from, yeah, sure. Does the actual the movie or the series itself have an effect? Not really.
Well, it has to have a connection, though, right, Mario? I mean,
sure, yeah, of course.
Okay, so this is what I mean. I don't have sequel trilogy characters,
right? What I do,
right? But more importantly, I don't have the main characters. I never picked up a Luke. You know, because for me, I'm with you. I was like, I can't do that because look what they did to my boy, man. Like Luke was like not Luke.
Yeah,
like,
but for me, I appreciated that it's their elderly versions of themselves, man. So in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? I can, if I wanted to, I can set up young Luke, farm boy. I like to set up baby Luke with Dark Side with Dark Side Anakin or Obi-Wan. I'm sorry, that came with
right.
Baby Luke, farm boy Luke, Bespin Luke, Jedi Luke. You know, just the evolution to the old man and right before he died and everything, you know what I mean? So I appreciate, you know, something like that just to see the evolution throughout the entire saga. Even if the movie was shit, I still appreciate the figures like that from the aesthetically, you know, from the costume designs and from the art of the actual head sculpts and everything else, man. I think they look fantastic.
No, I'm with you, man. And dude, Holland Toy Flicks, exactly, man. In your collection, posing or toy photography, because I do that all the time. Change your story, create some great things, and I think that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All of them come out, you know. So
if you're into toy photography or anything like that, to have these type of characters to pull them in absolutely is gonna make those pictures look good and be able to allow you to tell a broader story. But I get it; they're not cheap, man, and you got to make decisions. So
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I get it. That's why I get it. I get it. Like if people pass on it, I mean, I'm actually sitting back thinking like, I got this inbound. Like this show, she's already, I believe, in
Hong Kong did, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a Hong Kong purchase for me because I didn't buy it from Sideshow because I knew it was going to be a day one. But yeah, so this is already inbound, but I'm wondering to see how many views I get on it. Honestly, I'm waiting to see how many other people are going to do reviews on it. I'm really interested to see that. And it's not no shade of who doesn't do a review on it or you go what works for you. If the character doesn't work for you, that is fine. But it's just interesting to see. No?
Yeah. I didn't day one her, but you know, she's coming. But I get your point, right? Because not many people are going to, but it doesn't matter, bro. Like if you like her or anybody for that matter, you bought the figure, you want to review your figure, you know, or you want to take photos or, you know, because it's all about you as a collector, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So the people that want to know your opinion, dude, they're going to tune in. They're going to be like, dude, I want to see Jay's review. Like, what's going on? What does he think of her? You know, like, Like, the haters, who cares? Right. I mean, they're either hating because they hate or they're hate watching. So either way, it's a win. Who gives a shit?
It's a win.
Do you have that picture of her with the sabers split?
Did I already pass it? Or
right there.
Have we seen? No, I haven't really gone and looked at any reviews recently, man. But are we? Has the LEDs gotten any better with USB power?
Well, listen. I mean, CT's got something probably right. Can I full screen you? You got him next to you?
Yeah,
look, there we go. Oh yeah, there he is in the bottom left corner of the screen.
I can see it lit up a little bit. I can see it lit up a little bit.
Yeah, you can. The chest light is very bright. I'll tell you that. You can almost. It's washing out. It's. But I think it's as bright. I've matched it with my Darth Maul with the battery.
Yeah.
And it's as bright. That saber, the plastic on the saber is a little bit thicker than the one Maul had, so I actually swapped out the saber blades. And when I did that, it seemed like the USB was brighter.
Interesting.
So
interesting. Okay. Well, dude, yeah, man. Look, Charlie, though, Unicorn Man, he said the same kind of similar, right? I did that with Wonder Woman 84 and Golden Armor.
Yeah.
Didn't like the movies, but the figures were bangers, right? So
that's right.
And look, I know there's some aftermarket products out there that are available if you want to go ahead and if you want to light up your sabers. I would not say keep them lit.
Yeah.
What I know about those products,
like the CCFL sabers.
I don't want to name any product specifically. I'm just saying there's some aftermarket products out there, and if you're interested in them, I think you really need to talk to whoever you're buying them from, and make sure you're clear on leaving them on long term. And if that's a good idea, can you do that or not? But I can tell you this setup, I feel like I could leave it on all day, walk away, no problem. So that peace of mind right there,
that's worth it.
It's just a little bit dimmer. I'm okay with it.
Oh, thank you, EDR. Appreciate it.
I would think so. Yeah, man. Thanks, my man. Dude, guys, check out Jay if you haven't already, man. Brother Cousins is always doing reviews. He's certainly doing.
The reviews are really good. I really like your style.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate
really
that.
good.
He's a lot. Thank you so much.
Always, my man. Yeah, and always. You're doing more than me. I know that, man. I just take too. I take too long sometimes, man.
But when you do them, my God.
I mean,
someone's a fan.
All right, well, listen, I think we're all fans.
Hold on, that Gandalf? Come on now.
This is an interesting question that you have up on the screen. How do they view black characters in China? I heard that they took Finn out of movie posters for Star Wars and something similar for Black Panther. That's true.
They did. They shrunk.
Let me ask. I've got a line out there. Let me check.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, and it's there's prejudice all around the world, and it's interesting because I went to South Korea for the first time in 2018, and I loved it. I thought it was great, but it's a very homogenized culture. It's really funny that we think about America. America truly is a melting pot. But when you go to Asian countries, it's very homogenized. It is not. You do not see a lot of different kinds of people. I learned what it was like to be a minority in this country when I was in South Korea, because everywhere I went, there were eyes on me. Like, why is this tall American guy? Why is he coming into our store? What's he going to do? What's he going to buy? You know, they're always looking at you. I mean, is he going to steal toothpaste? Like, what? I mean, it was just, I'd never felt that way before. And it wasn't a bad thing. Because it was a cultural thing, but I realized what it must be like, you know, like I take it for granted that I can go into 7-Eleven at 2:00 in the morning and no one's going to bat an eye if I go buy some toothpaste, but that's not true for everybody in this country. Based on the color of their skin, you walk into a store at 2:00 in the morning, people are going to look at you. I'm not saying everywhere, but in certain places, simply because of the color of your skin. And now I wasn't even aware of this, but going to South Korea, which was lovely people, lovely time. But it was very interesting. Because I was different. We were, you know, white Americans in South Korea, and there aren't that many other than our own military, and it was wild. It was really wild.
Yeah, I loved it though. That's a good point. That is a good point. I mean,
and it really, you know, we don't understand because Americans don't travel as much, but it really depends where you go in the world. Wherever you go in the world, somebody hates you.
You don't have to travel far for that.
Yeah, well,
so all you gotta do is go live on YouTube.
But it's true because Americans don't understand. Like when you go to India, you know, there is religious and racial strife in India that we would all be like, wait, what? Because it has no bearing on us here in the United States. But when you go to India, it does. But it doesn't have any, you know, it doesn't. And I think we just as Americans need to be more mindful of that. About how our cultures.
I agree. But like, let's not get it twisted though either. When it comes to Hot Toys, man, if is dollar signs.
Well, yeah, they're going to make figures. Yeah,
what's up, brother, man?
Yeah, but when it comes to movies, we shouldn't be concerning ourselves with what's going to work over in the Chinese market. I think that type of thinking has pulled us away. It's just one of many things that have pulled us off of track instead of just writing good content. And
I totally agree.
These other countries just deal with it.
I agree.
Let them be damned. If they don't want to go ahead and air it in their country, then too bad. They'll get it. They'll black market and watch it and love it anyways. It'll change. Change happens.
Well, why hasn't a third party make Dora Milaje figures yet? Come on.
Honestly, maybe they don't.
Rob, I don't know, man. I hear you. I've been hearing that. Someone's got to hear Rob. Come on.
Because they could be like the stormtroopers of the MCU. I want like 10 Dora Milaje figures.
Yeah.
And line them up. Like I said, Hot Toys made a Throne of Wakanda. They got me to spend $100 on a plastic chair.
Yeah.
It's true.
I got no Dora Milaje to stand behind that throne.
Well,
oh, come on, look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, I think this is awesome. What do you guys think, though? Let me ask you guys this, man. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, Rob. I think a lot of us are here probably because we're like super deep sometimes with these. But do you guys think that she's a little different, a little softer than the solicitation photos compared to the final product photos? Because I feel like she's a little bit of a downgrade, but she still looks great.
I honestly don't remember, to be honest.
I think it's a little. I think honestly, me and Lel was talking about this on Friday. Was it Friday? Thursday?
Yeah, I tuned in. I watched you and Lel.
I think it's a little. And Hot Toys always does this. When they do people of a certain age, they just knock it out the box damn near every time. I don't know if it's because of the strong sculpt, the wrinkles, the age, all that works out with younger characters. And I believe Moses and I believe she's not that. I don't even think she's in her 30s. I think she's like maybe 27, 28. So she's on the young side. She's kind of on the young side.
She's 29.
29. There we go.
Okay.
So so with younger people, they tend to do them a little softer. They kind of do. I think overall they did an excellent job. I think the definition. I think what's really hurting it, the eyes. I think the prototype had more definition in the eyes, more detail in the eyes than this does.
Do you think that perhaps it's because this is a little blown out? There's really no shadow here at all.
Could be.
And I think there's shadow on the bridge of her nose and her eyes and her
just
cheeks.
Barely though.
Yeah, I mean, on her actual face, she doesn't have dark shadows under her eyes like that, or and so
because we have that a lot, right? We'll see.
I mean, I'm looking at a picture of her right now, and it's pretty good facial sculpt.
I think it's fine.
I think she looks great. Yeah. I don't see it. I don't friggin' see it. I think you people are friggin' crazy. You look great. When I looked at the sideshow unboxing, these pictures suck. So I'll tell you that.
True.
Whoever shot these, it's very dark. All right. I don't like the setting. The poses are shit poses. I'm convinced I could have done a better job. A lot of them are museum. Of course, you're showing all the ones that aren't.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going next.
But a lot of them were. And when I saw the unboxing and I could see the figure, I think it looks great. I have zero complaints on this figure or the sculpt. And I don't care. None of you people are goddamn buying it anyways, apparently.
Well, yeah,
you know what I will say?
I don't give a shit. I'm buying it. It's in my collection.
Look at that.
I think it looks great.
So last night on LWO, Eddie had brought the fact that her pose is just so neutral. When you pose her dynamically, she looks like she's bored or she's asleep or something, man. So I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity to have something more expressive, like if she's, I don't know, screaming or some open mouth anger type of expression, you know?
And and this is the thing where we don't have the rolling eyes with these figures. And I think the rolling eyes function, even though it may be hard to achieve, not hard to achieve, but it can be kind of, it's cumbersome.
The most subtle function can really make that much of a difference, though.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. But herein lies the problem though, Mario, is I feel like sometimes we just can't fucking win because if you gave her an expression, an angry face, and she's forever lost.
Oh, everybody's gonna bitch.
Two
two head sculpts be too much to ask for? I mean,
we used to get them. What happened?
But then people will complain. They gave us that with the Ahsoka, and they're like, I don't know
why
why
they complain, CT.
And it's like, why complain? Why not just don't put that face sculpt on if you don't like it? But I think anytime you give me a figure with a sword, come on, you got to give me a face where they have an expression using the goddamn sword, showing some kind of effort.
Yes.
Maybe growling like Ahsoka. Maybe that was a little too much.
Yeah, but the nice
I think it looks great. Personally, I don't think that was too much. But
no, well, Ahsoka, she has swappable faces, so it's a win-win for everybody, right? You don't like the angry face, keep it in the fucking box.
Yeah. Like she was getting up in everyone's face in the show. She was like, up in your face. And I would have loved one of those.
Do that again?
I would have appreciated one of those. I would have appreciated if they captured one of those looks when she was.
But you know what, guys? Y'all saying that, and I'm just thinking, I think that's probably going to be the next step in the evolution of Hot Toys. I think they're going to go back to giving us dual sculpts, because that's a great argument. You know what I'm saying? Every character that has a sword or has something that can do an action pose should come with that type of sculpt to represent that. That's a good right. That's I think, because think about it, where we're going. I know we're going to talk about probably J&D and all that stuff later.
No J&D, no Jokers. Listen. I'm going to hold on. No Joker talk here tonight, guys. There's been too much.
Woo! Hit the pause button. Hit the pause button when you say that.
Oh shit! We're losing viewers, man.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I am not having another fucking year of Joker talk.
What about just
you want to talk about that purple coin? You know you want to talk about that purple coat. Come on.
I don't know. What'd you say, Rob?
What about that price point talk?
Well, the price point's ridiculous. That's all I'm gonna say. If you want to buy it and you can afford it, good for you. I'm gonna buy 17 fucking Hano figures for the price of that Joker. So right?
I'll buy 200.
I'm gonna spend all that
figures
on. I'm gonna spend all that on a Michelle Pfeiffer statue. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, my man.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Prime 1, baby.
Talking, Jay.
Prime 1.
I know. I just bought that Prime 1 3rd scale Cyberdyne shootout 2. So, but that's not gonna come till like mid 2025. But anyway, yeah, no Joker talk. I was like, finally, the in-art Joker is finally in everybody's hands. It's done. It's done. And then J&D's like, here we go again. I'm like, fuck, dude. Yeah. So I guess we're talking about it. No, we're not. We're not talking about it. It's ridiculous.
Hot Toys is going to do a Nurse Joker, and then we'll be talking about this shit till 2026.
No, man. No, dude. So, no, we were talking about Reva, and then we're going to talk about a little bit other stuff in the toy market here. But, yeah, okay, overall, guys, we'll probably wrap on this Reva. I'll leave the poll up for a little bit more. We got 98 votes, 99 votes. We get one more. We'll end it at like 100 votes here. At the end of the day, though, general consensus. I know CT, you're grabbing her. Jay is already on the way. Mine will probably be whenever, sometime in the next few weeks, month or so, whenever she gets here. Mario, are you still on your OT only right now, or
OT only? I mean, OT and prop replicas and troopers and everything else. You already see it. But nah, this ain't. I'm not going down the Inquisitor line. The Ahsoka line is
very
as great as they look. I think I'm good.
Very safe collecting. Mario.
No, we have to be safe collectors. And I guess Rob, I mean, what are your thoughts at the end of the day?
Space collector.
I will eventually get around to it.
Yeah,
I want it.
Okay, just not a high priority.
No,
that's fair. I don't think she's a lot of high priority right now, because there's already so much stuff, man. So, but at the end of the day, she looks great, man. She looks great. I think Hot Toys did it. Yeah, she's maybe a little softer, but that's okay. I don't think she looks horrible. And you guys said the sideshow video was fucking great, and maybe the pictures. I don't even really look at her as a bad looking figure. Just kind of pointing out that I think it's a little different than the proto.
I think it's a tad. I think it's a tad soft, just around the eyes, but it's like normal softening that we have seen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing. It's nothing like, oh my god. I put this kind of in the same category as maybe not even. I mean, because the head on the the sculpt for Wolverine, That was a little different than the prototype, but actually having it in hand, it looks fucking amazing. And to me, it does. It does.
Yes.
I think some people will still, Anthony, I think you said it too, would prefer the original Days of Future Past.
I really like that Days of Future. Yeah, I did, but I don't have that Wolverine yet. But you, again, did your review on it. You had it in hand.
Oh,
looks much better, in your opinion, than the photos.
Better.
The photos did make us feel like, whoa, his face is a little pudgy, it's rounded, it looks a little different than the original, but
it looks good. It really looks good. And the paint applications, like even though I think even I prefer the sculpt on the original one, because they just knocked that out the park. But you can look at the paint on that one and the new one, they can tell how far advanced they are now with their paint application compared to that old one. It's like this new one is still, the painting is amazing on it. The hair, the freckles in the skin, it just looks like more like a person. They are getting better as the years go along, as they should. So
yeah, 100%, dude. I'm with you on that, dude. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll, and that's gonna, we're gonna put a wrap in that, man, for Reva. But just for reference, 104 votes, because 26% are getting her, and 73 are passing. So interesting to know. 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 also in the house. What is up, my dude, man? What's up, 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘? Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, nothing really else happened this week, and really, we talked Batman a little earlier in the week, of course, and whatnot. So I'm good that I'm glad that that's happening. But the toy market, though, is really kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight, because it's kind of crazy, dude. And I'm sure Rob, well, let me start with this. So Rob, you're aware of Playmates.
No.
And what happened with Playmates, right?
Yes.
They're not doing
their Star Trek line of what, 3 3/4 figures or whatever, 6-inch figures.
Yeah.
Ended abruptly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. After 12 releases, they ended the figures because no one's buying them. And I'll tell you something. Here's what I don't understand about this kind of. If you're a kid,
wrong one.
All right, why would you buy Next Generation action figures?
You would.
When did you ever watch Next Generation?
Right.
It was on from 87 to 94. And there were movies. I mean, Picard season 3 was awesome. I love that. But for the most part, the people that are buying toys, those kinds of figures now, are not. I mean, I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm buying mostly everything X06 puts out, but I had no interest in those figures. And I'm a Star Trek fan.
Yeah. Yep. And they're done. They're just done. But it goes beyond that, right? I mean, okay, so obviously the kids aren't really buying them, right? But that's still a big blow in general, and it's not just Playmates that's happening to, right? I mean, and those were cool, though, don't get me wrong, because I had them when I was young, right? Well, when the Playmates were doing all the TNG and the DS9 stuff.
Oh, they were amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I had all of them, because anything you can think of, if it was on screen for a second, they made it. Oh damn it, Spock's right though. New Playmates were kind of awful. They didn't really look that good.
They are going to continue making ships and cosplay stuff though.
Sure, because there's always going to be a knack for people who like the ships, like in anything, right? There's ship collectors.
Yeah. But isn't that interesting? I mean, just listen to that. They will continue to make ships because it's not a character. It's like not people don't have to associate the character and the properties, the content that they've been putting out just isn't hitting. It just, they don't write these movies. They don't write content anymore with merchandising in mind. Like that was the forefront of Star Wars. People lose sight of that, but they were very, very conscious of merchandising and what that was going to equate to. And they're just, man, they've just lost their touch. This content is, intellectually abandoned. It doesn't, for the Star Wars side, it's a lot of it's meaningless. It's like stories that aren't really going anywhere. It goes against the mythology or it detracts from the original trilogy. It just doesn't hit. So why would anybody buy, those characters?
Well, and that's kind of why I mean, like, you know, like you got Star Trek on one side, and I'm only talking about the sci-fi stuff because that's what we're kind of into, you know.
Yeah.
So the Trek side of Playmates is dead, like dead. They just canceled it. And then you've got Hasbro over here, you know, laying off. And keep in mind, in January, they laid off like a lot in January. I remember that. And now.
Yeah, 800.
Yeah, 800. There you go. It was 800 in January. Now they're fucking 1,100, which is shitty too because it's just at the holidays, right?
Yeah, that's terrible.
But these are people through all of Hasbro, which is a lot of people in Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of people in Magic the Gathering, and a lot of people in the toy division. So it makes me wonder, man, like sales are down. Like you guys, I know a lot of us we would collect either vintage or Black Series, or, you know, even when we were kids, right? Growing up, 70s, 80s, like we were all buying stuff. And it seems like nowadays this generation's different, right? Like they're not going out to stores buying toys. Yeah. I mean,
what stores?
Well,
there you go. There you go.
All right. So this began, and I know we're looking at it right now, but retail was evolving before the pandemic.
Jason?
All right. Things were starting to happen in retail. Stores just weren't hitting. The bigger chains were reducing the size of their stores and trying smaller models. Even Sears was trying a different model altogether before they shut down a bunch. So the malls were taking a hit, and we were really kind of reinventing retail before the pandemic. People were buying online more and more, and we were dealing with that. And then the pandemic hit. And then everyone was buying online. And there was a big spike actually in collectibles and toy sales.
That's right.
If you know, Hasbro will tell you that, you know, they're expecting a decline in sales because of that. Because in the pandemic, they had such a jump that naturally now things are coming down. There's more to that story, obviously. They're not going to go ahead and bite the hand that feeds them, Disney, but obviously Disney's not helping them with the content and with the lack of content and story and merchandising. So the pandemic was a big part of it. And then so now we returned, and a lot of that retail space is gone, right?
That's
Toys
right.
R Us is gone.
That's right.
Yep.
In the big box retailers, Disney has lost a lot of their space. They've lost 40% of their space. They're like preschool, that type of stuff still does well, does strong. But what they bought, what they purchased, Star Wars and Marvel for, you know, Disney was like 4.1 billion.
Yeah, it's like 4 billion or some shit, right?
Yeah. They bought it for the boys. Right, that was lacking from their model. They appealed to girls, and they really wanted Star Wars and Marvel to go after the boys after that. And take a look at what they've been writing. Take a look what they've been doing. In their properties, right?
Yeah.
The boys are no longer interested, right?
Yeah.
And they did that. So.
True.
One year, Kenner did in a single year sales, right? In the beginning, one single year, Kenner has done more in sales than Disney has done combined since they've bought the property.
Damn.
Let that settle in.
Wow.
Their Star Wars sales are 65% down.
Bad, dude. Yeah, because I know CT was following that stuff, dude. But I know Jay, you were saying something too there.
No, I mean, CT just blew my mind with that figure right there. With damn, wow. Where I was coming from with that is you're 100% right, and I mean the content that they're making right now isn't exactly catering. It's supposed to be, but it's not exactly catering to boys. It's not. And then you also got to look at kids today, and this shit kind of started in our generation, Anthony, you know, when we were all buy video games. I remember seeing, kids play the Nintendo and everything. And I was a kid, even though I love my Nintendo, I love those computer games and stuff like that. But I also like to go and I was a kid that played with toy guns and used to run and play gangsters or play laser tag and stuff and jump in trees and go outside. I love that. So when kids were huddled over a damn, in that, Nintendo Super Entertainment System, it was great. But I was also like, I like using my imagination. I was jumping up and down. I still jump off steps doing this at 40.
Just having fun, right?
I still do thwips, you know what I'm saying? And just only wishing that, I would have some of the stuff that I have today. And it's funny, I think where this is all going, and I think what's going to happen is they're going to start catering back to nostalgia. I think that's where the money is. The money is in us, our generation, because we grew up with toys. We remember that time.
Yeah, but here's the thing, bro. Like, we're going to die. I mean,
and that's where it comes where they're going to go. This was going to happen. They're going to go play the nostalgia card, and that's going to work for a while. That's going to work for a while because, like I said, you give me some last Starfighter figures. You give us some, you give us all types of stuff that we want to buy, like stuff from the 80s and stuff like that. It's going to work. But like you said, at some point we'll die off, or we'll just start buying statues and move out of that and move to another tier of collecting. That's just what it is. Shit. Hopefully, I'll be collecting cars at some point. I don't know. But I'm just saying. Our collections will grow. One day I do plan to have a damn kit, a 1/6 kit Knight Rider card built. I mean, that's where I'm going in my collection. That's just where I want to do. But aside from that, they have to create new content. And that's what it comes to. It starts with the content. And if the content ain't rocking, nobody's going to be knocking with those figures.
But then let me ask you this, and maybe I could direct it over to Rob, but do you think it's because it's not so much is it so much that the toy industry is failing because no one's buying toys, or is it the toy industry failing because the medium that they're putting out is just not interesting, or it's just not? Because sometimes, look, kids don't care if a show is good or bad. They care if they're entertained by it, right? If there's pew-pews and explosions, cool. Maybe they like they're not in depth. Like when we were kids, we didn't know the characters, right? We liked it was fantasy stories, the action, we bought it. But do they, is that like a direct result, you think, because the writing's not there? That is it lukewarm reception? Is it, I'm trying to make heads or tails of the situation, because I don't know if it's a generational thing or if it's just all the shows aren't that great.
Well, I think, first of all, how kids play today is totally different than when we played. Yep. And the fact is, like, I still like building model spaceships because I liked holding them. I liked, that's how I learned about the Millennium Falcon. When you saw it on screen in Star Wars, was very difficult to understand its design, because when you look at it, you get glimpses of it. We know what it looks like now, but it wasn't until when I was a kid, 11 years old, I think the model came out, the first MPC kit, it helped me understand the layout and how the Falcon worked. And I've always loved spaceship models. I still build them today. Kids today don't. No kids build models. Maybe Gundam models, Gunpla or something.
Yeah.
But I go into hobby stores and no kids are buying spaceship models. They don't care because they have video games. You can play a photorealistic example of the Millennium Falcon on a video game console. So why do you need a toy one that you're going to imagine flying around your room when you can actually sit down and play it on a pretty large screen? I think kids today just don't care about toys the way we did because they have video games, because they have interactivity. They had things that we never had. Like for us, we came as our childhood. When I was a little kid, 12-inch G.I. Joes were my jam, the Adventure Team. And then Mego put out World's Greatest Superheroes. And it wasn't until I was 10 years into my life before 3 3/4-inch figures had come out. I had Planet of the Apes figures, and I had all what Mego was doing. And when they reduced them down to that small, I was kind of bummed out, but they were cool because no one had ever seen anything like that. And you could still get the vehicles and all those things. But I mean, that was almost 50 years ago. And nowadays, kids are just not buying. They're not buying toys as little kids. Preschoolers, yes, but as you get older, even into elementary school and junior high, I mean, I was buying Star Wars and Star Trek toys always. You know, I never really stopped buying them. They've just gotten more expensive and better.
Yeah.
And you know, now, oh yeah, I'll get the Jazz Inc. Millennium Falcon cockpit. Well, I remember when the Millennium Falcon Kenner came out. You know, couldn't fit 4 figures in it, but you could open it up and it was great to have it. But kids today just aren't playing with toys. And if they're not playing with toys as little kids, they're not going to grow up and collect higher end toys as they get older.
You think that there's an inherent, like it starts at a young age?
Oh, yeah. You know, I think our fascination with figures, representations of characters, it absolutely happens at a young age. And if you think about it, when you guys were kids, I'm a little older, but there was some great, whether it was G.I. Joe's, not the 12-inch, but the 3 3/4 inches, the figures that came out for the animated show starting in the 80s. Mm-hmm. That was a great toy line.
Yeah, it was. No,
the figures, the accessories, and then you had He-Man, and you know, you had Transformers, and you also had TV shows to back up those things. Yeah. And even I'm older, we didn't really have that. We were lucky if we got the show and then they made toys from it, like Planet of the Apes or Star Trek or something. But nowadays, kids they're not collecting toys. They're not going out and getting all like when I was in elementary school and Star Wars came out, every kid who was 10, 11, 12, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, we all collected Star Wars figures, all of us.
Yeah, but here's the thing too, though. A lot of us were playing video games back then. Like Jay was mentioning, I mean, we had my first console was Atari 2600, you know, and then I got the NES when it came out.
But those, you had to imagine. Now video games are so sophisticated and the visuals are so incredible.
16-bit graphics. But Super Star Wars was the shit,
dude. When you're playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 or something, I'm like. Or Force Unleashed. Like I loved Force Unleashed. I mean, I loved Shadows of the Empire for N64 because they had the first level was the snow speeders against the walkers, and that was the physics of flying the snow speeder were correct. And it was like playing on the N64 controller. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't need Mike, even though the Kenner Star Wars snow speeder was one of the great Kenner vehicles they ever made.
Absolutely.
It was because the size was correct and everything about it was correct. Even the feature when they had the guns going zzz, it was easily one of the great, the Y-Wing, the B-Wing, the snow speeder. They made some great toys, but when you could play it and the graphics were great, I remember being obsessed, and that was what, 96? Maybe 95, 96, Shadows of the Empire. Playing that N64 game, I was obsessed, and I would play that snow speeder around over and over and over, and that was the first round because the physics taking down walkers. I'm like, I dreamed of doing this.
Yeah, that was cool shit.
And on a video game, they gave you the graphics and they gave you the gameplay, and I'm like, this is awesome. And if I had that in 1977 when Star Wars came out, I don't know if I ever would have made the leap to figures because we were playing with figures and making up our new. This is why the Jedi, the Imperial figures, the thing about Star Wars was the original Star Wars takes place over like 3 days. If you think about it, it takes place over like 3 days, and it represents, you're just seeing a sliver of the universe. So the Star Wars toys, you could play with them forever because these characters, you met them in the middle of Luke's having a day when we meet him. He's had a whole life. He goes up to Anchorhead and he soups up his T-16 and all that. And Star Wars figures work because it was an endless supply of stories in your imagination. That's why you could buy any Imperial figure. I remember when they came out with the Imperial troop transport for the Star Wars figures, that wasn't in a movie. It had sound effects on the top of it, and you could slide the figures in on the side. It was like this. It was a badass toy. I'm like, this wasn't even in the movie, but it's an awesome toy, and I want it. And,
that's like a lot of G.I. Joe stuff too. You're just like, oh my god, look at what is all this stuff, and like it was badass. Real quick, Blurred Dad makes a good point though that I wanted to bring up because he says, as a dad of 3, the generational shift on toys is evident. It's video games and YouTube which has captured their interests. I see the love of toys through me and my collection.
I just want to break in here. I don't again, I think this circles back to the content. Kids are playing with toys. They're not playing with so much the toys that we've played with. And again, a lot of that has to do with the content. The characters aren't hitting, so they're not buying the characters, okay? But if you look at, say, Lego and model building, I don't know if I'm going to agree with you on that, Rob, either. Legos is doing great. Legos is growing, and they do all the ships. They do the play sets, and their revenues are up 17%.
Okay,
their operating profits up 5%. So they're doing fine.
Now, I would agree with you there, but Lego is a different
model.
I think the thing about Lego is Lego from this is going to seem a little strange to say, but from a philosophical standpoint, Lego itself, the medium of Lego, means something different than buying an action figure. Because when you I still love Lego sets. Getting a great Lego set, you get to build it. You can Lego unto itself is its own thing. Like, you see people with whole Lego cities in their basements. And now you can get Lego models like the model of the Titanic, but and I want to get that Lego Eiffel Tower. It's as much Lego is a different kind of a thing because you have to make it. So there's a craft element, a creation element.
Well, and that gets back to the kids don't want to get into model building. Like, they don't glue things together like we did, and probably good reason they shouldn't be smelling that glue and dealing with that. Trust me, they are creative. They are building with Lego.
Sure,
play sets that are more extravagant than they've ever been. And
I know.
I
think
think
more expensive than they've ever been either.
To that point, Lego's successful because it's not character based. A lot of this is play sets and vehicles and scenes, and they don't have to. And for the younger kid, Lego.
But I'll give you an example. Do you know I have a theory? Minecraft is a video game that is essentially Lego.
Sure.
And so it's almost like if you like Minecraft and building a world, the thing is it's built. Lego is an extension of that. It feeds off itself. And the idea of it almost doesn't matter. Like, you can love Star Wars Legos, and Legos, by the way, have done a great job of getting licensed properties. Batman, Harry Potter, like you said, Star Wars,
almost like Funko level, almost.
Yeah. But they also have that Minecraft component thing going on, and like you said, it's not character based, and it's like you can look at anything. Like, the Lego Eiffel Tower is big enough that if you have it and you get the light kit for it, it's just a cool thing to have in your bedroom.
Yeah.
If I was a kid, I'm like, man, I'll build this shit and it's awesome.
Lego is only one product. If you look at, and I know we're primarily talking about the US, because if you go to other countries, if you see some of these videos in Hong Kong going into the shops, those shops are packed, and they're buying toys over there. And again, it's not the traditional stuff that we're used to. It's like cause babies and
but also like
I don't identify with personally. I don't identify with those toys, but they are selling them, and Hot Toys has their finger on that pulse there too. Look, definitely, no question that the sales are down, but I don't know about, kids don't know how to play with the toys. I think if we give them the content, if we start getting back to writing great stories that they can immerse themselves in, they will want that. They're doing that now with the video games. That's where they're immersing themselves into. Before we played games when we were kids, our kids are like in the game. They're immersive. And when they come out, they will buy. My son does go after like video game characters and stuff like that. Those are the figures he wants. He really doesn't care as much for Star Wars anymore or the Marvel stuff. But his video game stuff, that does hit. And he does pursue that in action figures and stuff like that. So I think they just got to get that content. They got to get away from these messages and start building great characters, and kids will want it. They'll want to be Han Solo. They'll want to be whoever the hell this new character we need to come forth is.
But do you really think though that kids will play with figures the way we played with figures when we were younger?
They don't have to. No, they don't have to, because the video games are so good. They those stories that get built and everything. Those video games get built and tell those stories, and they can jump into it.
But do you guys also think that? Because I know, do you think that varies from individual? Because I know me personally, and I also know some kids that are like that. They like to have physical representation of what Then they like to have a physical totem. You know what I'm saying? In the hand, and I know I'm like that. It's like even if I have a favorite property, or you see it, a lot of times when we buy these games, they have these big packages. They usually have like, oh, here's a little statue, here's a little something, And I do think kids like that still. I still think kids would like it. And they may not play with toys or play with figures the way we do, and they have so many other things. I mean, shit, we're talking about video games. Come on, we forget they got Oculus and shit like that too.
Yeah,
so you know what I'm saying? They can just go in and use a lightsaber and just cut down some, cut down or fence or get a proton pack and go to in VR. They don't need the physical aspect of it. But I do think there's some kids that like figures and like figures and stuff like that. And do you think that could be an individual type of thing, or
you know what, it can? But let me like jump in really quick, because I do have some chats I gotta address here in just a second, and I know Mario has to get going. Do you have any thoughts on this, Mario, before you gotta leave, or do you have to go like right now?
I mean, I think you guys nailed everything on the head, man. There's nothing really left to be said. But I did find things interesting too. I'm curious to know whether or not, to see these companies that are catering to the adult collectors. If you look at, for a time, you did see stuff that coming out that catered to us in regards to reissues. Probably mentioned Transformers, right? Not too long ago, what did we get from Hasbro? We got reissues with the G1 artwork and everything of the original figures. Back then, when G.I. Joe, Star Wars made a resurgence with the vintage card backs. He-Man, all that stuff, everything that we grew up with, man. Like they started bringing shit back, because kind of curious to know if that was actually the writing on the wall, that they weren't selling to their intended demographics. So, let's just start selling to adult collectors. Let's turn the shit around, start reissuing shit that they love. They're nostalgic, right? Exactly. And now I guess people are just getting out of it in general these days. It's crazy to think that, I don't know, shit could just stop. I mean, I stopped collecting vintage. I freaking loved them, but it was just too much. It's crazy with all the other shit that I collect as well.
Well, sure, of course. And then you start dipping into other territories, and then some things, maybe you grew out of it, right? That's something they absolutely consider. I feel that's why they do things like HasLabs, because they're not going to put that type of stuff in. We used to get those in the stores all the time.
But that's HasLab's a really interesting example, because, when they made Jabba the Hutt's sail barge, that was the first HasLab Star Wars thing, wasn't it?
It was.
I remember. Now, I didn't get it, but I looked at that when I first saw it. My first inclination was like, man, I wish they made that in 1983. I mean, it was, it was so cool. I mean, that toy, as somebody who's spent his life loving toys, that toy was so well thought out. For play value and the way it looked and all the accessories. I mean, it was so good.
Rob, you know how much that thing is worth now?
What, $1,500?
Double it.
Wow. Because they didn't make very many. Because it was $500 and people were
it was made to order.
Yeah, made to order. Yeah, dude.
That thing was so awesome. Oh,
I mean, you just look at the HasLab that they just did with the PK meter, the 2 in the box, the Ghostbuster 2 in the box thing. What was that like? I think when it all said and done, it was like $7 million. It made $7 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's there. The fandom and the money is out there.
Yeah, but it's all adults.
If they put it in the store, though, Jay, it would sit.
It was absolutely.
Yeah, you see what I mean? They've injected this exclusivity, to a demographic of older people, right?
Smart business, business.
Because they could have named it Afterlife or the new Frozen movie and put it out in Target or something, and it wouldn't do as good. It wouldn't. It wouldn't do as good. So, but guys, I do want to get to a couple super chats here. Unless Mario, you have to dip now.
Yeah, I actually need to take off, man.
Okay, so we'll do that. I'm gonna give you the floor for
no
floor. No
floor. None coming up. Perfect Cat Monday Night LWO. You guys already know.
I'll
see you guys. You guys have a good night.
Man. Okay, you gotta get going.
Mario,
brother. Dude, awesome, Mario. We'll talk soon. He does have to go. Guys, let me go ahead and address a couple of the super chats in here, man. We got AJ, my man, Pursuit of Awesomeness for 10. Dude, thank you, my man. He says, this is where the main failure lies. They, as Rob has so eloquently stated previously, Marvel used to make 4-quadrant films. They have not had that concern the last couple things. Thank you, my man.
And also what CT was saying, I mean, all of this is driven by look at Hot Toys didn't make Marvel figures until the MCU. There were no Hot Toys was doing Predator, they were doing Alien, they were doing Rocky.
Yeah, of course.
They were doing, and when the MCU came out, and I remember I bought the first 3 Iron Man figures. They're primitive now if you look at them, but
oh yes,
they were really cool figures. And when they leaned into it, it was a whole, because the MCU was so cool that suddenly Hot Toys, which was already dealing with the adult collector, knew that they had all of us on the hook because we grew up with comic book figures and see comic book movies that were so cool. I mean, the Hot Toys put out a Mark 1, 2, and 3, from that first Iron Man movie. And they were selling out like hotcakes. Yeah. And Hot Toys didn't know if they would sell them, and they did. And so the MCU for 15 years has been a license to print money for Hot Toys.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, as to CT's point, now we were talking about it last week. What I'm not going to buy anything from. I mean, I'll buy Kang because I'm a fan of the Marvel Comics character Kang. So to have Kang, I'll buy Kang despite the fact that I don't like the way he's been served up in the MCU in either the shows or in Quantumania. But I like Jonathan Majors as Kang, and that figure is awesome. So I'll buy that figure, but beyond that, I don't. Thor: Love and Thunder, don't care. Quantumania, don't care. Marvel's certainly nothing to buy in that movie. And so Hot Toys, they've had 15 years where they've been making a fortune off the MCU.
Yeah.
And now they've hit a wall. And hopefully they'll lean heavily into Deadpool, and hopefully Deadpool 3 is great. We'll get a yellow suited Wolverine from Hot Toys. We know we're getting that. And I mean, we don't know for a fact they haven't announced it, but knowing of course they'll make it. And that's the only thing the MCU's got going for it. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Like last week, we speculated Hot Toys was going to go back, and what happens Monday? They drop BVS Batman.
Yeah,
and because they know that Batman, it doesn't matter what Batman the movie they do, whatever Batman they make, it's going to sell. It doesn't matter what it is.
And like Iron Man, Spider-Man. I mean, those are the A-list or S-tier, characters. I mean,
but are they going to capture the mind? They've already got the hearts and minds of all of us. But will Hot Toys be able to endure when they don't have they now have basically a year-long desert of no figures?
Well, I think we talked about this last week, but I think exactly. CT knew where I was going with that. I think that's what Hano Toys is going to be kind of a thing. But let me get through a couple of these really quick. Because I got Bob Dylan for 5. My man, love you, Bob. Says excellent point, Rob. It's hard to convince a kid to buy a Mondo or Rogue when they can download her skin and play modded Baldur's Gate and do kinky stuff. Listen, man, don't judge. Don't judge. When you judge me, when you judge me, you're judging Force, and you're judging late bloomer and anybody else out there. But he does have a point, man. And thank you, Bob. And then AJ, my man, again for 10. Dude, he says, when you make a movie everyone loves, people want to support it. When you let the quality drop, you're actually cheating yourself. It doesn't pay to make it quick and fast and in a hurry. Also an excellent point, but I think, some of them, they don't. They're just churning out product, I think. And I got Rock'em on Chris, my brother, dude. What is up, my man? So I'm digging CT guy you've been having on the stream. He's got you there, man. Keep reading this, dude. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you, man. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Of course, brother. And dude, I know I seen it. Bob Dylan, bro, gifting 20 fucking channel memberships, dude. Bob, dude, seriously. Thank you, my man. That's badass, man. Welcome to the 20 who just got the membership, including Bob. Look at that. Bob gifted a membership to Bob Dylan. I mean, it's just
what?
It's awesome, man. That's great, dude. I do appreciate it, dude, very, very much. I know I got one or two more down here, guys. I definitely appreciate all the generosity, my friends. And Rock'em Chris again for 10 says, Rob, do you feel movies or stories or writing have been mediocre due to how writers have been paid? Example, shit pay equals shit work. Minimum pay gets minimum effort.
No. And I'll tell you why. Movies are so expensive to make that if you somehow find yourself in a position where you're writing for movies or television, you never think to yourself, I'm just going to turn this shit out.
Like I'm going to half-ass it?
You can't. You can't half-ass it because what you're writing, there's going to be spending, if it's a decent TV show, $10 million on that episode. And for a movie, and if your name's on it and it sucks, that means you've wasted $10 million of someone else's money. So everyone's trying to write the best. People are trying to make the best things they can. The problem is, the biggest problem with entertainment right now is that as the studios have been bought by larger and larger corporations that are beholden to their stockholders and their bottom line, their fiscal quarters, a corporation doesn't know the difference between a good and a bad story. A corporation just knows that, okay, Star Wars made this previously. Each one, even the Phantom Menace made $400 million when it came out. So Star Wars was a brand that, in their mind, like a good car, you know, like everybody knows a 𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗕 or a McLaren or a Bugatti. Those brands, people know that those are the Tiffany standard of cars.
Yeah, of
people
course,
always spend millions of dollars on them. Well, Star Wars was just considered that brand. No one stopped and thought. From a corporation's perspective, they're like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean there's bad Star Wars? There's no one in a corporation that or anywhere that would understand. What do you mean? Star Wars is a brand. It's a product that we're selling. Are you trying to tell me that there's good and bad Star Wars? And if there is, how can you put it on a spreadsheet? Please put it on a spreadsheet for me. Well, they can't. They can't quantify it because even Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion.
That's true.
At the box office.
Nope.
So people would say that, well, what's wrong with that? I mean, so from the corporate standpoint, they don't understand, know, or particularly care about something unless it falls off a cliff.
Right, but they just so they see that they made a profit, but I mean they can't just
but they don't know there's no one in a corporation that knows the difference between good and bad storytelling, because that's not what a corporation does. A corporation doesn't even have it. You can't even look on a spreadsheet. Well, how do you quantify that?
Right.
How do you quantify good storytelling versus bad storytelling? Well, what's really interesting is Marvel is now they're asking the hard questions. You know, Disney and its shareholders, the stock price did not do well this year. And everyone's asking, they're looking at Bob Iger now, they're looking at Kevin Feige, and they're going, guys, what happened? For 15 years, Marvel movies, on the average, they all made the first 23 movies of the Infinity Saga $1 billion, an average out of $1 billion. For a movie studio, that's insane to make that kind of money.
It's groundbreaking.
So the question needs to be asked, well, what are you doing differently? We're spending the same amount of money. You're bringing back the same actors. Why is this not working? Please explain it to us. And I'm saying that, explain it to us too. Like,
well, I think it's the message.
Well, my thing is also this. It's crazy that they look at it like that because nothing fucking lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? To keep up with that pace for as long as we did, it's truly a marvel, and pun intended, it's truly a marvel that they were able to keep it up for that long. Up until Endgame, that's insane. But they did it.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
But they did. I'm just saying, but they did it. Now, the thing of it is, what they have done differently, I think we all know what they did differently. The quality went down. The quality went down because let's just say, to be fair, they overexerted themselves. Honestly, completely.
Yeah.
You can't stretch yourself but so thin before things start, unraveling and falling apart. And then, I mean, come on, you got rid of the 3 biggest stars. That's where it's like, that's what went wrong.
That's tough. That's tough.
You got rid of your big 3. You got rid of the big 3. Really?
No one gives a shit about the First Order, right? So, like, when the stories suck and the content sucks, no one's invested. No one cares about the First Order. No one cares about the heroes going past. The shit will sit. It's just going to sit, and that's exactly what happened.
What's interesting, you mentioned that, because when Disney took over Star Wars, obviously it was in their best interest from a corporate standpoint to start the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Was supposed to be the beginning of Disney Star Wars, and what they wanted to do was stake their claim to Star Wars and move forward. So Star Wars became a Disney brand, which meant that everything that they were creating from The Force Awakens on was going to be theirs. And that's why Galaxy's Edge is First Order. You know,
it's now their brand. I mean,
and it's the Millennium Falcon with a rectangular dish. Rectangular. Yeah. So, but here's the thing, and I get that from a corporate standpoint, makes perfect sense. Yeah. We need to take Star Wars and make it into our own brand, right? Yeah. The problem is that movie. I mean, I know people liked it, and it made $2 billion. Nobody cares about those characters, and I apologize to everybody in advance. Fine, you might like Kylo Ren, you might like Rey, you might be a Reylo, or Reylo. You might want to do all those things, but the fact is, those characters were pale imitations of characters that we've seen before, amalgamations in a dozen other movies, much less Star Wars.
Yep.
And none of them did anything in that movie. None of them did anything heroic. They just did generic Star Wars. He's a Star Wars hero. He's going to fly and save the day.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't see one of them hold Princess Leia and swing over a big chasm on a rope. You know, you never saw someone, and they played the same beats that they played in Star Wars over again, and none of them were earned. Like you said, no one cares about the First Order. If you're a little kid, this is something I would tell the corporate minders. Like, what happened to Star Wars? I'm like, okay, if you show your kids, if you sit down and you watch episodes 1 through 6 with them, and then you tell them, so 1 through 6, Luke becomes a Jedi, defeats the Emperor, Vader is redeemed, and then you go to the next movie, you pop out your disc, or you're streaming it on Disney Plus, and then you watch The Force Awakens. There's a First Order. There's a more dark Jedis. And any kid worth his salt, the kid's gonna go, him or her or they, whatever, is gonna go, what the hell is this? In the last movie, I just watched my heroes defeat the Empire, overthrow the evil, and take over the galaxy and turn it good. And now in the next movie, you're telling me that they've all become schlepprocks? Luke isn't even around. Han Solo's an absentee dad. Leia is they're fighting the Resistance. And you're going to ask yourself, that is let me just say it. It's fucking bullshit.
But I agree. No,
I agree,
man. I'm 100%.
I kind of feel that way about the Terminators.
I really do. Honestly. I really do believe if they get back to writing, if they can really after this strike, if they can get back to writing and they can just come out with some great properties and get focused on their movies, you can write this ship. Kids will they go after the toys like they did in the past? Will they? No, probably not. But they are going to go after their idols, their trinkets. They are going to. It will become something else. We might not know what that is. But if you write that stuff, people are going to want it. That is our society. As Americans, we eat it up. We want the shirts. We want the sweatshirt. We want all that stuff. And that feeds itself. The more you see that stuff out there, the more you want a piece of it. You want it. And you're like, I'm not going to wear that stupid hat. I'm not going to wear that. Oh, that figure, though. That figure's friggin' badass. I can see that on my shelf.
But let me ask you guys with kids, though. So, Star Wars started in 1977. It's literally closing in on being a half century old.
Yeah.
Pop culture is something that is renewed with every generation. Every generation has their own pop culture.
That's right.
And that's what they're looking for. And I just don't think that these old franchises are ever going to capture the imagination of younger people the way they captured our imagination, because
they need new, fresh ideas.
That's what I think. And what we're not getting, and I want new, fresh stuff too. I want new things I can buy. I've been buying. You know what? If somebody asked me how many Darth Vader figures I've owned over the course of my lifetime, it would be an embarrassingly large number.
Yeah.
You know, I bought every iteration, but what I really want is I want to see a new entertainment franchise that I love, like you brought up, Brother Cousins, Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
The Terminator franchise is another franchise that they murdered.
Yes.
Because it's a franchise that was born out of the imagination of one man.
Mm-hmm.
And he made in 1984, next year is the 40th anniversary of Terminator. He made that movie for like $4.5 million or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made the first $100 million movie a mere 7 years later with Terminator 2. And both of those movies were absolute bangers, you know, the genre defining movies. And then after that, everybody else tried, whether it was Terminator 3, whether it was Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, Terminator Dark. The Sarah Connor series was pretty good, but they couldn't capture the very essence of what Terminator was. And it's a perfect example of, let's take this franchise that was made by one of the great filmmakers of our time, you know, whether he's a simple man, but he's always delivering the goods. And you're trying to have other people recreate something that was born out of one man's pen.
Right.
One man's imagination. He wrote and directed both those movies, and then it becomes a franchise. And look where it wound up.
Yeah. But you're right. And the thing of it is, they never captured the fucking essence of Terminator. Terminator 1 was a fucking horror film. Let's be honest. It was a horror film.
But it also, you know what they've never captured? It's also a love story and a story about family.
There you go. There you go.
And
yes,
the first Terminator is it's about a man who's in love with a woman, a princess he's never even met.
Yep.
That was the mother of the leader of the resistance. And when he goes back in time, this woman he's been in love with most of his life, he's there to protect her, but he falls in love with her because she's like, wow, he's a hot soldier from the future, whatever. But at the end of the day, all of Cameron's movies, people forget this. Aliens. It's a movie about motherhood, the feminine strength that is derived from the power of motherhood. You have a mother whose own daughter grew up and died 57 years while she was in hypersleep.
Yeah.
You know, and she gets to, and what does she end up doing at the end of that movie? Confronting another mother.
Yeah, the queen.
You know, and there's this amazing subtext, and whether we know it or not, we're feeling it in the story. That's what's resonating with us, because the story has greater meaning than just the action on screen.
That's right.
And the same shit is true of Avatar, True Lies, a husband and wife.
Yes.
The Abyss. The Abyss is a man who's in love with his wife. He's estranged but he's still in love with her. And she's a cast iron corporate bitch, comes down to the drilling platform. And through this entire experience, what do they learn? His titanium ring, it holds the door open. He confronts aliens, but at the end of the day, love you, wife. And his love for his wife is really what convinces the aliens to not destroy humanity. I mean, all of that is in these movies, and people don't understand it. If you're like, well, we got to have a Terminator, you know, he's going to go.
Right. They're just trying to balance
crazy action shit.
Exactly.
And what they forget is James Cameron brings the heart, man. And the thing is, that guy, he brings the heart to everybody. You can have a high school education. You could have been a high school dropout, or you could have a PhD. But his movies work for everybody. They're not like going for the I'm only appealing to the art house crowd.
Yeah,
his
exactly.
movies appeal to
and
everyone. You know, it's so funny listening to every time he's making another movie. James Cameron, like Avatar, it's Ferngully in space, and it turns out to be the highest grossing movie of all time.
That's
because he gives you the awe and wonder of it all. And
a story,
the story, and the emotion,
Yes. Right. Oh yeah, I agree.
And that people, the corporate. Well, we have to have a story that has this. You're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
You're wrong. You've got to have the heart, and all of our franchises have been bled of bled because they're trying to recreate stuff and they forget the heart of it all.
That's right.
That's an excellent point,
The
man.
classical.
I gotta clap for you, Rob.
Give a round of applause, everybody. I do want to shout out Luminar, though. Lumi in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Supporting 5 months of membership. Saying hello, what is up, dude? Lumi. Shout out to Lumi over there. She's doing awesome with Blail. Late Bloomer, Local Lou, Figure Flex Friday, man. On 1/6 scale, man. Appreciate it, dude. I love what you guys are doing over there. I do have a super chat here real quick, guys. I'm trying to get through the chats, man, but we're just like neck deep, man, and some great talks here. Bendu Windu for 2, my man. Blue Eye Samurai. I heard that show was great. Another good
series. Great series, man, on so many levels. The music, the animation, the storytelling. Gotta watch it. If you got some time and you're like, there's nothing to watch.
Is that on Netflix?
I believe it is.
Yeah. Pedro Lopez, dude, I haven't watched it yet either, but -1, right? Godzilla is a perfect example. Good writing, low budget, right? I mean, that kind of explores kind of what Rob was saying, right? I mean, it's not so much Godzilla as the monster. It also explores the human condition,
the heart,
the heart, the writing. That's what it comes down to. And like you said, Rob, all those movies, especially in the Terminator, those movies after Terminator 2, they lack that. Is some parts in Terminator 3 that I do like, but I'm sorry. But it's so. I mean, even the way that it's shot, it doesn't even look like a Terminator movie to me. No. And I know it's not in Cameron style. I get it, but it looked more like Scream 4. It looked like that. When I saw it, I was like, "This is not Terminator." I remember even the score and all that. I was like, "This is not Terminator."
People forget. Think about Ghostbusters. You guys all like Ghostbusters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what does Ghostbusters have in it ultimately? You have Bill Murray has to save Sigourney Weaver from 𝗕𝗓𝗄𝗧𝗎. There's an element, there's a meet cute, there's a I mean, I love Ghostbusters. It's a great comedy. It's a great fantasy epic. But there's also this love story in it.
Exactly.
Even though it's a funny love story, there's a love story in there. And not only that, you have these compadres, these 4 guys. I mean, Winston Zeddemore joins them, but the 4 guys, they have a camaraderie, and they're all willing to put their lives on the line to save everyone.
Yes,
and save one another. Yeah. And we feel all that. Back to the Future. Marty McFly is trying to make sure his parents fall in love. Yeah. So he exists.
Yeah, that's what makes it compelling. It's not the fact that he went back in time. Nobody cares about that. Well, why? What's he doing?
Well, they care about it because that's what makes it delicious.
Yes.
Rob.
There's lots of stories you can tell about a man trying to make his parents get back together, whatever. But the great thing about genre cinema, we love the time travel. We love the Terminators. We love the future worlds. We love all that. But we also, admit it or not, we also love the heart. Because you know what? All of us, we're all romantics at heart. Whether we want to admit it or not. We're all romantics.
Yeah.
And people forget that.
Is there a path for I'm almost I try to keep things positive and remain positive, but like corporate America or just global corporations have gotten their claws into the properties that we hold dear. So is there hope for them or not? Let's just say maybe not. Okay.
Right.
But is there a path for future filmmakers? Like the 80s, there just seemed like there were so many movies being made. There were just so many movies coming out. And even though they weren't even big budget, some of them that were, low budget hit. Well, there were some good sci-fi flicks that were like low budget. So do you feel there's a pathway for young writers and filmmakers to get this thing back on track after this
strike? It's a great question, and I would say this: 100% there is, because we see it. Like, for instance, I love the show For All Mankind. There's a show that talk about Tim Cook and Apple all you want. Apple has enough money where they can just allow things like Foundation season 2 is terrific. For All Mankind is a great show. The kids that made Talk to Me, the 2 brothers that made the horror film Talk to Me that came out, they were making YouTube and TikTok videos. They were learning their craft and Talk to Me was their first feature horror movie. You know, it's not the Terminator, but it shows that these guys have a voice, you know, and they were part of the young generation, or the Duffer Brothers who made Stranger Things. You know, they were raised on all this 80s nostalgia. They made a pretty interesting feature film that put them on the map, and then they teamed up with the right people, and they were allowed to make Stranger Things, and it became a hit. Now, Stranger Things is going to become, quote unquote, I mean, it's similar in tone kind of to Back to the Future or Stephen King or whatever. Yeah. But what we liked in the 80s, whether it was Fright Night or whether it was the Monster Squad or Back to the Future, Stranger Things is to the new generation, to the Gen Zers or even younger today. So and they all, when they make money, corporations will, the difference though, here's the big difference about Hollywood. When all those movies were being made in the 80s, movies were not nearly as expensive as they are today. They were made for a fraction of what movies were today, and they were not directed at trying to appeal to an entire global audience. So if
Can't
you
we
think
do that though? Like I remember people with camcorders making goddamn movies, trying to break through and do something.
There's
now,
still
everyone's phone has digital cameras. You can do so much with computers, and
it's still hard. I mean, we've got voices and they're out there, but it's still really hard to make movies. I mean, I'm optimistic, and a lot of those kids today are going into video games. They're going into game design.
With that market's over flooded, and then they're just getting laid off, and that's
true.
I mean, I got to tell you, the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, I mean, I was excited for it as anybody else because I've been playing the Grand Theft Auto franchise since PlayStation 2. And the fact that those girls are thick, oh yeah. But I mean, I look at that, and the kids who are going into game design now, even though they're part of bigger companies, there's some really interesting, I think game design is going to be incredibly innovative. There's a lot of great storytelling going on there. Yeah. And I think, Ghost of Tsushima or Grand Theft Auto or Baldur's Gate 3 or whatever, these are what we loved as movies in the 80s. Those video games are today because they're providing
movies and video games. Like,
I think I think movies are a medium of the 20th century. People will still watch them. But I think we're on the cusp, by the way, too, with where AI is going, with technology is going. We're going to see a revolution in gaming. Absolutely. Combination with the Apple Glass. Like, I can't wait. When you're going to be able to go out into your neighborhood with a group of friends, and your neighborhood will be mapped by Google Maps, and say you want to play a post-apocalyptic zombie game. Whatever you're looking at, your neighborhood, the game will put an overlay of an apocalyptic image of society will have fallen 20 years ago.
And then these kids are going to get hit by fucking cars.
Like even with that Apple Glass, I'm even looking at some of the stuff about it. I'm really thinking that within 15 years, how we're able to go in our app, in our iPhones and to look at memories. Oh, I remember when my daughter was doing this and this. We'll probably be able to relive those movies in virtual reality, which is almost kind of like that whole barf thing that Tony Stark had in Civil War.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like time travel in a way, but going to the past. It's going to be some weird shit with that, but it's going to be interesting as well. But it's going to be so much that we're going to get.
But it's also going to allow, you'll get 4 friends together, and you'll be able to create your own game on the fly. Like, say you're hanging out, you all guys got together, and you'll be able to go, okay, you know how you have prompts for images now? Yeah. You'll be able to be like, okay, what do you guys want to do today? Okay, I want to go. We're on Mars, and it's 200 years from now. And there's this colony and that colony. You'll be able to sit there and rattle off whatever you want to do. And a computer is going to be able to digitize this thing.
See, that's a scary thought, man.
I know, but you know what? How cool is that going to be, though, for kids that are just being born today, or the kids that are going to be born in 10 years, that they're going to be, their creativity is going to, whatever they conjure up in their minds, will be AI and technology will be able to instantly create it, and they'll be able to live out whatever they've conjured up.
That's a new way of creating.
That's going to be huge in the porn industry. That is
well, we're close to that already now.
We're almost already there, man. I mean, look,
porn has always led home video, porn led video games. I mean, it's always gone that way. But the weird thing is kids are less and less interested. I mean, porn now has made kids scared of sex. It's such a weird, it's bizarre. I mean, I think it's like, you know, you have a predominantly larger number of girls than guys are considering themselves non-binary. I mean, I think part of it has to do with the pornography and all. I'd be intimidated too. I'm like, I'm not worthy. I'm not. Yeah. But yeah, porn. I mean, we're gonna live in crazy times. But on the other hand, we're also gonna live in some really stunningly interesting times too. I mean, you're gonna have kids that are gonna be totally like, what was it like to live in Rome? And you'll be able to go.
Well, that's kind of goes back to video games, like with Assassin's Creed. Like it kind of gave you that little bit of history in there and stuff and whatnot. So, but I will say, Christian, man, what's up, brother, man? Christian in the house says, yeah, that's right. Rob, League of Legends, of course. I fucking lay Bloomer Baldur's Gate game of the year. He's keeping, but yeah, he loves that shit, dude. Baldur's Gate's the shit, dude. It is so good, man.
That's not what it says.
I know.
That's not what it says at all.
He's teasing you because that's what
Baldur Gag. Baldur's Gag.
It is not, my man. And JP, man, gamers go outside. I know, right? I'm with you. I'm with you on that shit, dude.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, watching Last of Us, even though I thought the show was great, and you know they did it was real beautiful episodes. It's real beautiful how they retold that story, and I understand why they did it, because there's a lot of people that are not going to pick up controllers and watch that, you know, and play that game.
Right.
But the thing is, the experience of playing that game. And I remember it was my mom and aunt at the time. They were like, hey, can you go put on Last of Us when the first one came out? And I was like, put it on. I have to play that shit. It's work. They was like, well, go ahead to go to work.
Metal Gear Solid came out on the PlayStation 1.
No.
I was like, fucking dope, dude. I mean, Metal Gear 1 and 2, I don't know if they're related or not on the NES, but like when Solid came out, I felt like I was playing a fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I was dating this girl at the time, same thing, bro. She's like, dude, play some more Metal Gear. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get to it. But like, because it was so engrossing, you know, it was like, it felt like a movie. The story was awesome. And then it continued onward and onward. There's a lot of great games that came, you know, obviously before and after, you know, Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, fucking Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Planescape. I mean, so many games, Ghost of Tsushima, you know, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. Like people, so I get that, like, but I don't know though. Like we grew up through all of those generations of games, but we still collected. You know what I mean? It just the games made me want the stuff.
But we had collecting too. It was both.
Yeah,
I mean, because we played with all that stuff. You know,
maybe modern day content is just not making cool shit that that people want. That's the thing.
I really do. I think the corporate effect is diminished. We need. You know, I'm hoping that this frustration somewhere out there's a writer. It's going to birth the next George Lucas. Just like George, his frustration, like this movie can only be made by me. I've got to create my own company to make this thing the way they can't do it. They can't get my vision done. I've got to do this. I'm hoping that person is out there. Their frustration is hitting an all-time high, and they're saying, "I've got this," and they're like, "I've got it. I've got the idea. No one's listening to me," and they get their opportunity. And
I think the problem with that, though, bro, is that this generation grows up on social media and TikTok and all this stuff, and that they're so distracted. Right?
That's true too.
They don't even have time to become creative. Like, you're in, like, what about us? Like, we're getting in trouble, whatever. We were grounded, we're bored, we got nothing to do, or something. Like, you know, or our minds wander. Or back in the day, there's only fucking like 2 or 3 TV channels. I mean, like, so there was a lot of like a lot of creativity spawned from that, I think, right?
Exactly. George Carlin said it, how many years ago? 20, 25 years ago? Take some time to creativity and just daydream. You know, we can all use a little bit of that. I remember walking around my neighborhood as a little kid, daydreaming about some of the shit, some of this Marvel movie shit. And I'm just thinking, man, if they had Spider-Man, how a Spider-Man movie, or how would an Iron Man movie be? And people would see me walking around the neighborhood, and I had friends that thought when they were playing football and all that other shit, they were looking at me like I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? Why are you walking around? Oh, I'm thinking about playing Spider-Man. You're thinking about playing Spider-Man. And I had my little Marvel cards in my, my little pouch and everything. Yeah, I mean, that's what we need. You're gonna need that person, that new CT, what you're talking about, that creator, that creative. That's what we need to come up with the next proton pack, the next lightsaber, because that's what's missing. That's what it's going to do. And as soon as that happens, as soon as that person happens, all of this will be, everything will rise back again.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Christian, man. I'm just being a bit dismal, right? You can't really generalize a whole generation, right? There will be someone, right, at some point, and I agree. But I feel like that one person used to be like, 10.
But you're still asking it to be the way it was for us. You know, where you're still, and I think what's really interesting is, and I always say this on my own YouTube channel, that I think pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. Once you go back 20 years, pop culture of the time starts falling away. The classic stuff sticks around. But how many people right now that are watching this show right now have actually seen Conan the Barbarian?
Watching the show, yeah, it's a good question.
Right now. Like, I mean, that was 19. Of course, I mean, I was there opening day, but Conan the Barbarian opened in May of 1982. Yeah. And people might have watched it on cable, but again, you go back to the fact that there's so much stuff now, and every year there's more stuff. How far back do people want to go when they want to watch what's going on? What's the new stuff? What's coming out? I mean, I got The Boys, I got Gen V. I mean, the thing is, The Boys and Gen V are great shows, but I don't think there's now remember, there was not the kind of science fiction, fantasy, and horror content there is now. Now it's all acceptable. The geeks won. We won. Our content won. It became the most popular content in the world.
That's true.
But it wasn't the case when we were kids. I mean, we didn't get, if you got one, I mean, I would watch Manimal or Automan on TV.
Movie level for a lot of times.
Yeah, man. And if you got one show on side, and it would always get canceled after like 7 or 8 episodes because no one like The Fantastic Journey. I remember watching that going, oh, this is cool. No one watched it.
No one watched. Killed. I will say, dude, SpongeBob SquareBalls, what is up, my man, for 5, dude? Thank you, my man. To Rob, I think you're talking about Total Recall. But
even that, I mean,
thank you, my man.
Okay, how many of you, the 3 of you on my esteemed colleagues on this panel, how many of you saw the Total Recall remake with Colin Farrell?
Personally, I didn't watch it.
I did.
Okay.
I mean, I saw it too, but it was like, why did somebody make that?
I was like, why? How do you make Total Recall without the mutants? The coolest part. I'm like, what the hell is this?
They never even left Earth.
They never left.
I mean, and they go back and
you make me wish I had 3 hands. You get no Benny. I'm like, come on, what?
I got 5 kids to feed. I mean,
Martin Kay said he worked on the remake, so that's interesting, man. What did you do on the remake before Jay keeps riffing on you?
It's like, why would anybody thinking remaking Paul Verhoeven's, and he got remade? They remade RoboCop too. And you look at RoboCop, Joel Kinnaman and it's like, why? And they
why did it need to be
look, I feel like they're just trying to take what was good,
lazy,
and rebrand it to a new generation, thinking that the success is going to be the same, and not capturing the spirit of what made those originals awesome.
Yeah, it's lazy, right?
At the time, it's lazy, right? Some of those movies could be attributed just to the times.
They
all were.
They're exploring new stories, new properties. That's where the focus needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is
nothing in the past is gonna pull them out of this or save them. Yeah. It really isn't.
But the reason like Japanese manga is so popular is because it's all genuine. The creators that are making all this stuff, it comes from their heart. And as crazy as it might be, or as wacky as it might be, the creator's voice comes through. No one's telling them what to do. And, you know, American comics have gotten to the point where everyone wants to inject their own personal identity politics into what they're writing. And it's such a weird, like, I didn't watch science fiction, fantasy, and horror to see myself reflected back at me. I didn't want, I watched movies to see other people.
Right.
I wanted to see people I didn't know, you know, and and it's such a weird, it's a weird place to be at. Now everybody's like, well, I'm going to be an activist, or I'm going to, everyone's like, I'm going to teach you something because you don't know. I'm like, who are you to teach me? Why are you presuming that I don't know? I mean, it's such a weird, tell me a great story, man.
Yeah.
And we had great storytellers that had great storytellers to work with, and they gave us all of our classic cinema. You know, it's funny, we're 40 years away from Ghostbusters, but yet Ghostbusters, a new Ghostbusters movie that comes out next year, everybody can't wait for. It's 40 years old.
That's right.
Yeah, but who's the ones that can't wait for it? And
everybody,
everyone must. Are we the demographic? Because they got the kids in it now, so you know, with Afterlife.
But Afterlife, that's the thing. That's why they look at Ghostbusters and they go, it's still viable. But the female Ghostbusters movie didn't work.
No, it was a dumpster fire. But here's the thing. And that's cool. Okay, he was just a PA on it, but got some cool selfies on the set. That's badass, dude.
That's awesome.
The reason I think why is because, you know, Ivan Reitman and his son had to do with Afterlife.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's the same that we're talking about, that lineage, the creators. Well, I mean, mostly, right? I mean, we lost Harold Ramis, but you know, Aykroyd was still there. I mean, these guys were major contributors. I mean, they created Ghostbusters, so they're working on it together again. And I feel like that's why it's a good movie. It wasn't sold off to another studio that hired some guy who, you know, did a brief show on the CW, and he's going to be the fucking writer and the director of this IP. Right. So
the Answer the Call movie didn't work for one. I'll say this. If they wanted to go all female, I think they had the perfect cast. I think all those ladies worked great together. The problem was the equipment sucked. The look sucked. It had no heart. Mm-hmm. Once again, it had no heart. I can't even tell you what it was about. And it was beat for beat, just ripping off the original. It wasn't anything. If they had made that like almost built off like a Ghostbusters Extreme and had them connected to that universe, or make it an alternate universe and keep the goddamn toys. That's the thing. Ghostbusters is about the fucking shit. It's about the tools. That's the thing. That's the cool. It's not just the thing, but that is one of the cool attracts to it. Just like the lightsabers to Star Wars. Their proton packs look like shit. So that among other things is why that didn't work.
And it was like slapstick comedy that didn't really like capture the heart that you were saying. And you know, and DC Fit, I'll agree, Dredd was cool, but I think Dredd kind of went more off the comics, and I feel like that's maybe why Dredd was pretty good versus you know, in comparison to like Judge Dredd with Stallone, right? I mean, that was just fun as a product of the time, but
that deserved a sequel.
I agree with that one. So Afterlife put the big four together, dude. And I know I should have speaking of my Afterlife Ecto 1 should be shipping Monday.
Ooh, nice.
Finally.
Nice.
So kudos there. Better late than never. So as they say in Ghostbusters 2, Cheech. Right, in Titanic. Since we're on the topic, but
wait a minute, is that Thanos back there with the Ghostbusters?
Well, listen,
that's awesome. Hold on, that works. That fucking works. Hold on.
Look, to team up against Gozer. All right, so who better than Thanos with all the fucking Infinity Stones? No, listen. The thing is, I was doing photo work. That's why everything's a mess behind me, and quite frankly, that's the only shelf I have right now where there was clearance. So I was like, let me put him right here for the moment. But good eye, man, good eye. He's just hanging out with Thanos creates ghosts. Hell yeah, it keeps him in business. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. Funny, man. Geez, that's pretty good, man. Anyways, I think I want to put a call it, man. What do you guys think, man?
Well, we haven't talked about Mondo's new Rogue figure yet.
Fuck, we didn't talk about Mondo.
Bro, they were at Designer Con today.
Yeah, they were. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't even think I have anything like drummed up. I mean, I know there were some things, but I don't even talk about that Tuesday. But we can briefly talk about it. We can briefly talk about it.
She gives me Major Wood, this plastic figure.
Well, yeah. Well, there's beyond that too, right? I mean, they oh yeah. Showed some other stuff too.
Oh my! Look at
oh
that.
my, indeed, my friends. Damn it!
It's those lips that get me. And look at that Juggernaut black suit variant. Oh my!
There was a lot, man. So there's other ones, but here's some of the photos that we saw here. You're launching into their Spider-Man. You got Symbiote, Spidey right there, which is badass. You got that.
Are they gonna really have the Toy Biz logo?
I don't know.
That's awesome. That's a cool.
Or it's like similar. Does it say it? No, it says Toy Shiz.
Toy Shiz.
I got the Toy Shiz right here.
I love it.
So something like that, yeah. And then you've got that's badass with the Goblin mask. Mary Jane portrait. There's Venom. Look at that Eddie Brock, dude. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool, man.
Damn it, Mondo. Damn it.
What do you want? You know, look at this Bane, bro.
Oh shit.
Look at that swap out seamless torso.
Huh?
Look
at all those head sculpts.
I know, dude. So, okay, there you go. Thank you for clarifying. Toy Shiz is a YouTuber. Those are his photos. That's cool, man.
Okay.
I like that. Very cool. Did not know. Mafia, what's flashing over your left shoulder? I don't know, dude. What is flashing? Oh, that right there is a Dark Trooper. A damaged Dark Trooper. Fucking.
That's awesome.
It's a good sound effect you just did there.
Thanks,
I like
man.
that.
I was trying. I needed to
good.
capture, the last episode of season 2 of Mando. I think I did an all right job. Let me know. I don't know. No, but yeah. So they did those, and then they did showcase Rogue. I don't have her on this photo here, but maybe I could find it before we wrap, because that's fucking badass. And I like Mondo a lot, so. I know we've got some Hano stuff coming, and some people are making comparisons, but you can all you want, man.
It's a different vibe, dude. Different vibe.
Different vibe. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I like to hear. Different vibe. If I can,
one's animated and one's real.
Yes.
Do you think we'll see a price, like a small price drop in Mondo? Since, I mean, I know it's still far away. We're talking about the Hano figure. That's one figure, but do you think we'll see? I don't think so. Never. That's a stupid question. Never mind.
I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I don't think so. I don't think we're seeing price drops in anything.
Yeah.
I don't. I think, and we talked about this last Saturday, so I don't really want to get into it now because I do actually have to get going, guys, here in a minute. But that's really why Hano is around. I think it's not only relevant to what's going on with the competitors in the 6-scale world, but it's also relevant to our conversation this evening, where it's been, people aren't buying shit. The economy's fucked. People are broke. There's a lot of variables going on here. So I think that also
entry level collectors.
Yeah. So we're gonna see how things go, man. It's a great discussion that we're going to continue to monitor and talk about over the next weeks. So you guys definitely stay tuned on the shows here on Saturday and on Tuesdays as well, man. We've been doing our 2023 tier list of all the released figures of Hot Toys, and on Tuesdays it's fun. We did 2 parts already. We probably got a couple more that can round out 2023, so I would watch on that too. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably wrap, man. We're almost 2:30. 2 hours and 30, guys. So it's been a badass conversation. We could talk about this all night. So I just want to say, Jay, of course, I'm gonna have to bring you in there like that, bro.
Hey. Stream close up. Hey,
Extreme close up. All right, sometimes out there, man. Everybody knows what that is.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate you having me tonight. It was great. We had a great conversation with Yost earlier this week. Make sure you guys go and check that out. That was awesome. Also stream. A lot of people are excited for that 89 Batmobile, and I can't wait for it too. So it's gonna be amazing. Once again, thank you so much for having me tonight, and deuces. Love y'all.
Wait a minute, no, don't deuces me. What is going on? You got something coming? You got Reva coming? You're gonna have a review coming?
Oh, yeah, I got Reva coming.
We got toy reviews.
We got Reva coming. She is dropping. That should be here Monday or Tuesday. So we'll be doing that. Also, me and Mom, we skipped this week because we had to do some Black Friday. We had to do some Christmas shopping. So me and Mom, we're getting back together. We're doing part 2 of our chat about the Beatles. So another story time with Mama Cousins. We're probably doing that on Monday. Monday at around 5 p.m. something like that. And then we're doing the Reva. We'll be doing a review on her. And then we didn't do best. That's right, we didn't do best of the best this week, but we will be back next week for our Christmas show. So we're doing a couple of giveaways and all that stuff. So it's going to be real exciting. And that's going to be it.
My man. Be sure, guys, check out Jay if you haven't already. Links are in the description. I'm going to bounce around. I'm giving everybody a little bit of a full screen, man. CT, my brother. Thank you for coming with us again tonight, man. It was a back-to-back, but great conversations. I wanted your input, man.
Appreciate it, man. And thank you for having me on again with 2 of my favorite streamers as well. Always great to be here. And listen, join us in the Discord, where the conversations always continue and new topics are always being brought up. So we're always taking this stuff on daily, every day. Unboxings, live collection, tours
and stuff. I just unboxed the Mark 1.
We've got a lot of new people trying to come into the Discord, so appreciate that. Noticing that some guy, right? He made it in. He found it. So I was talking to him. I'm like, man, why did it take so long? And he was like, man, I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't realize that a lot of the people that I hang out with in the chat room, like Ash Chase, for example, and a lot of the other folks that I just hang out with are already in here. So yes, don't be intimidated. Like I said, you don't have to put the camera on. You can talk to us or not, or just listen. But we've always got a lot of stuff going on in the Discord. So come on and see us.
Yeah, man, or just type in our general chat, right? That's where so many people hang. So it's really fun, man. It's a huge community, man. We're about like 300 members in there, dude. So it's really fun. It's really fun just to shoot the shit.
Aside from that, it seems like Tuesdays seem to be a regular thing. So
Tuesdays it is, my man. Right?
If you're looking for me, you can see me on Tuesdays on the Tuesday show. Is it named yet? Did we?
Yeah, man. The toys we talk about. The toys we always talk about.
You're not doing that. The toys we always talk about.
Yeah.
So, are we really twats?
I mean, some may think we're twats. I don't know, but yes.
All right. Very good.
Tuesdays,
very good. Whatever.
I know. JB, listen, I'm looking forward to the multitude of Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary drops from Hot Toys 2 over the next 2 weeks.
Really?
All right.
It ain't looking.
Well, listen. Before I get to Rob, right? They did note, right? There's a Hot Toys event on the 20th of December.
Yeah.
So, and there's 3 upcoming sideshow events that are, kind of gonna go with that overlap concurrently. So,
yes,
maybe. Jazz hands, bro. Let's hope. Let's hope. But Rob, I'm bringing you in, my man, dude. As always, it's a pleasure having Rob here.
Well, I've got all my stuff, Robservations. I'm marching to my 1000th episode shortly. Well, actually in a couple months, and then of course, Let's Get Physical Media. But what I'm really excited about, I got to tell you. So I am going to be crowdfunding. I am making an audio drama based on Road to Perdition writer Max Allan Collins, his detective novels. He's written 19. Actually, here's one of them. This was published in October. of this year. This is the 19th Nathan Heller novel.
19,
and
wow.
Nathan Heller was a former Chicago PD officer in the 1930s. This book takes place in the late 60s, and the novels document his entire career as he went from being a cop to being the private eye to the stars. And he gets involved in a lot of American historical crime thrillers. And so I'm producing and directing an audio drama, not like an audio book, but a full-on, I call it a movie. It's just missing the pictures. And so we're going to crowdfund this, but I directed a proof of concept, a 12-minute proof of concept, a full-blown piece. And Nathan Heller is being played by Todd Stashwick, who played Captain Liam Shaw on Picard Season 3, that 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢𝗢𝗠 is making a figure of. And there's going to be a lot of other known actors in the full-on audio drama. But when we launch the crowdfunding campaign next month in January, you'll be able to hear this proof of concept. And I finished mixing it at our audio facility yesterday. Nice. And I mixed it in both 5.1 and in 2-channel stereo. And it's, even I'm blown away because I'd never done it before. I'm like, yeah, we'll do an audio drama. It'll be like a movie. We'll mix it like it's a movie. We just won't have pictures. There's original score and original jazz score. And I'm really proud of it. I can't wait because I grew up listening to like the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. I've loved like the Sandman audio dramas that are on Audible. Yeah. And there's been some great stuff. So I wanted to do one. And, you know, Max Allan Collins, he wrote Road to Perdition. He was a Batman writer. He's written so many novels. He wrote the Dick Tracy comic strip after the creator Chester Gould left in the Chicago Tribune. It's been great getting to know him and working with him. So it's something new that I've never done. And the first audio drama is going to be 8 hours long. And it's based on the first 2 Nathan Heller books. And this proof of concept, I literally finished it last night. So it's really exciting. I'm very excited about it. And it's just a cool new thing that I've done. It's going to have a lot of interesting actors in it. But if you like Stashwick as Liam Shaw, you're going to love him as Nathan Heller.
Loved him. Loved him.
Yeah, so that's something that you'll learn more about, but that's a new project that I just finished at least the proof of concept for. And the reason we can do it, but to crowdfund it, I want to do things like I want to make a vinyl box set of the entire 8 hours plus the soundtrack really album is a vinyl box, and then do a special edition CD box, physical media. And then I want to do Dolby Atmos mixes of the whole thing. So you have to put that on Blu-ray. And that was not part of the budget. That'd be part of the crowdfund. So we'll see how we do. I don't know. Maybe no one will want to crowdfund it. Maybe no one wants an audio drama. I don't know. But it is really cool. And it's the latest thing I've been working on. So
it's awesome, dude. I
look out for that. Actually, since you know me,
I do.
I might help you with hearing it.
Oh, I like to hear things. That would be awesome, dude. Listen, here's the thing, though. Here's one thing that I would require is next week, man. Can we get one? Doesn't have to be a lot. Just one 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢𝗢𝗠𝗘 figure somewhere in the background here of the 𝗕𝗔𝗩𝗘.
Oh, dude. Oh, yes. I will have a whole 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢. I promise you, the display will be very different next week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, this is a mess. This whole place is a mess. I can't deal with it anymore. I can't. I'm squaring off. I'm squaring it off, and I have a second camera here, so you'll be able to see all of this.
You can do some nice.
Yeah, because you can't see. Like I got my quarter scale Basic Instinct Sharon Stone right there. You can't see her.
Wow. Yeah, we need to see that.
Okay. She's about to uncross her legs. The Blitzway Basic Instinct statues right there.
Yeah, I need to see that.
Yeah, you need to see it. And I just got a 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗢𝗠𝗘 1/5 scale Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet.
Oh, very cool.
And it's from 25 years ago. I had one and it got destroyed. It's a long story, but I found another one and I've just been painting it because it's a vinyl figure, but it's and I painted it gunmetal. I put some of it. I put the paint. It's so cool. It was funny because I was painting more of it because I had all my my micro clips out where you can paint little pieces And Elizabeth was like, God damn it, when are you going to get this out of the kitchen? I'm like, okay, baby, I just have to finish painting it. It's going to be, but it's going to, I have a little shelf. It's going to go right there where I've got my die cast Code 3 Slave 1 over there. And yeah, because there's all this stuff that no one's seen. People are
yeah, especially Star Trek, dude. Like, you know.
Yeah, I got to get more, and I got put more ships. You know me,
great.
I've always got Star Trek ships.
There you go.
Different starships. They're all over the place.
Whoa,
yeah, I love it. This is a great 𝗕𝗓𝗧.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what's really funny? So this was obviously, if you look at this is just a Galaxy class plastic model that Mike Akuda, the art department, cut apart and sort of kit bashed. But this became an actual ship, canonical ship in the Star Trek universe. And 𝗕𝗓𝗧 made it. This is the XL version of it. But I have starships everywhere, and I need to clean it all up.
Yeah, dude, totally.
I see your starship, and I raise you one N1.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow. So who makes, is that die cast?
No, this is Micro Galaxy. They've been making all the Star Wars stuff.
But that's really nice.
And they come with miniature figures, posable figures inside there too. So
that's really cool.
It's actually a little line that this is actually what's got me walking the toy aisles in Target and Walmart again.
Hell yeah.
Checking things out. You can get, they're making everything.
That's a great line.
It's badass.
It's pretty cool.
I will say, dude, like Star Control, my man. Just stay tuned, dude. Just stay tuned.
Hey, Nanjin was showing the pictures.
Look, I know that's probably what you don't want to hear, but like, just stay tuned. I can't say more than that. But
and by the way, that costume is great.
Indeed it is.
I can't wait for Disco Bones.
I'm telling you, like, just stay tuned. There's things I can't talk about.
But Nanjin did post on his Facebook page. He did post the Disco Bones with the face blurred out because I think he's redoing the face again.
It's still not ready yet, but it will be.
But the figure, the clothes, there's even chest hair.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. So, guys, I got to get going. It's been an awesome show. I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, man, hanging out with us on Saturday night. You could be spending your Saturdays anywhere else, but you choose to do it here. So greatly appreciate everybody here. Again, everybody's links are in the description, guys. Tuesday show, as CT mentioned, will be on 5 o'clock Eastern. No, 4 o'clock Pacific on Tuesdays. And I might have some videos coming up soon, man. A couple of things are being shuffled around. I got a couple of vehicles coming in, so we may be seeing a couple of video reviews, man. So
I'm going to continue grading the grading of the what was released in 23.
Yep, part three for 2023 Hot Toys. That's going to be Tuesday, 5 p.m. That's 4. I'm all fucked up. 4 Pacific because the time zone change fucked me up. So. Anyway, guys, you guys have a great rest of your night, and we will see you on the next stream, dude. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace.